Okay. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much everyone for joining the session. Good morning, good afternoon from here. We're currently live on YouTube and I've just posted the link, the YouTube link in the chat. So if you want to share with your friends, and please, if there's anyone you think should be in this session, please kindly inform them that the session is currently on. They don't want to miss all the information and value we're going to be sharing here. Yeah. So again, thank you for joining the session. So this is an iScholar Initiative webinar session. It's about navigating your first year in graduate school. And so today we have 4 panelists who would be sharing from their wealth of experience. They've gone through the first year in grad school, and we believe that there'll be a lot to learn from their journey. So today we would just go through introductions and tell you a bit about iScholar Initiative, and our panelists will give an overview of their first year in grad school. Then we can have question and answers from the audience, and we would have parting words or tips from the panelists and the closing remark. So yeah, I'm your moderator. My name is Faidat Badamosi. I'm a 2019 iScholar. I'm also a current grad student at the University of South Carolina. And one interesting fact about me is I volunteer as operations manager of iScholar Initiative. And we also have another moderator today. His name is Mayokun Okay. So Mayokun is a 2020 iScholar and current grad student at the University of Texas at Tyler. And one interesting fact that I always find super interesting about Mayokun is he has a background that he has his bachelor's in chemical engineering, but right now at University of Texas at Tyler, he's currently studying for a master's degree in mechanical engineering. I mean, chemical engineering to mechanical engineering, getting a fully funded offer. Oh my God. Okay, I guess my opinion is going to share something about that too. Yeah. So about us, iScholar Initiative, you've possibly seen so many things about us and the things that we do. So we have a vision to build a younger and self-driven generation for the future leadership, innovation, and overall development of Africa. But with that, we're on a mission to actually mentor and empower young African students in fulfilling their dreams for graduate studies via access to fully funded scholarships. So at iSI, most likely some of us have come across this iScholar Initiative scholarship. So we have iScholars, and as much as possible within iSI, we also try to do things that would benefit the general public, not just the iSI, not just iScholars. So that's why this webinar is one of those kind of things that we do. We actually have so many other things that we like to share with the public to help as many people as we can, to reach as many people as we can. You can find out more about us on our website, www.ischolarinitiative.org. So now we'll move on to introducing our panelists.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Faida. So today we have 4 panelists. And to start off, on the first panelist, we have Mercy Ojetunde. She's a first-class graduate of microbiology at Osun State University, and she's an avid researcher, a 2020 iScholar, and also a recipient of the Commonwealth Scholarship for 2020, which means right now she's studying in the UK for her MSc in biotechnology at the University of the West of Scotland. Fun fact, Mercy has a thing for going to schools that are in the West, studied in Nigeria in the West. Right now is in the University of West of Scotland, and she's also going to West Virginia. It's always West for her. So authored and co-authored 8 research publications, and that's just very amazing. So next up, we have, next slide. Basit Jimo. He's also a 2020 iScholar. He's a graduate of Federal University of Technology, Akure. Right now, I mean, he's a young Elon Musk. is into doing his master's in electric vehicle propulsion and controls, just everything electric vehicles. He's a scholar with the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master's Degree Program, and Basil is highly interested in control systems, applications of such, and also power electronic converters and battery management systems. And next we have Ifuna. Ifuna is so my very own school, Obafemi Awolowo University, where she obtained a BS in microbiology and also a master's degree from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, before she proceeded to a PhD program right now in Hong Kong Baptist University in biotechnology and environmental science. She's also a 2020 I scholar. Her research is focused on optimizing process parameters, biohydrogen production, and the goal is to be able to get optimum yield from this fermentative biohydrogen production process. Finally on the list, we have Anil. And if you look at the picture, you know he's smiling a whole lot for one reason, because he has his hands on the keys of a computer, typing in a language that very few can speak. I mean, I'll give you a bit of context. Languages like Python, like Java, we don't speak it to ourselves, so I think it's not a language of humans. Anil graduated from Obafemi Awolowo University as well. He's currently in Louisiana State University in Shreveport. That's obviously the name in Louisiana for his PhD program. He is very passionate about teaching, and he's also very passionate about helping prospective graduate students in their journey to graduate school. So academic interest is at the intersection of cancer research. And I've also mentioned about the fact that he loves programming so much. And apart from the academia, he loves nature photography, music, and poetry. Frida, over to you.
Thank you so much, Mayoko, and thank you and welcome our panelists. So first, we'll go over an overview of your first year in grad school. So we want you to tell us what first year was like for you in like 3 minutes. So I'd like to start with Mercy.
Okay, thank you, Faidat. So my first year in grad school, yeah, I came to the UK, and it was like, okay, I started my classes and all that, and it was like, wow, because it's a different world game. Like when we are used to the teaching system in Nigeria, and now coming to the abroad. So when I got here, it was like nobody around, this one, that one. And I discovered that people in the UK are kind of, they don't want to, mingle, something like that, except you reach out to them. It's like this mind your business something. So I was at first finding it difficult to associate because nobody is approaching you. Do you understand? So like you have to approach, and then, they get to know you more, and they get to know about everything you maybe want. So when I started my classes, because I started from Nigeria, because our lectures began so early, but then I was waiting for my visa and all that. So I came to the UK, started my lectures, started online because of the COVID-19 restrictions. So, and it was going on smoothly and all that. Although the learning style was kind of different, but then as time goes by, I was, adapting to the styles, to the learning styles. And you have to, make sure that what you're writing is not being plagiarized, something like that. So trying to ensure that you don't copy somebody's work. So I learned a lot of things actually while I came down to while I am studying in the UK. So I think that's just a brief stuff about my learning in the UK.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Mercy. So now we'll move on to Aniel.
Okay, so basically when I first got to the US, the major stuff that the first thing I know I faced was culture shock. So there was this culture shock that I came from the fact that, I'm a Deltan, but I studied in OA Ife, Great Ife. So there's a particular way we greet, especially Yorubas, there's a particular way you should greet them. I know you have to bend down, stuff like that. But then when I got here, it was like you can just exchange handshakes with your professor. It's nothing like they just feel really awkward when you are bending to greet them. And so all those things happen. Then culture shock, then techniques too. Like most of us had poor backgrounds in the lab in school. So right here, I learned how to use the pipette. I learned how to use many instruments, do the PCR. Like everything was just new to me, but I just had an open mind and I learned very well. Then exams too. Exams were kind of back to back in the sense that for one course, you're writing 5 exams. And one exam can be that really long that the professor that's supposed to proctor the exam would leave you guys in the hall. People can stay there for 7 hours writing one exam. Then when you are done, you go and they trust you so much that when you're done with the exam, you take your script and you go and slide it under his office. He would have gone home. Do you understand? So all those things were really, because I mean, who would do that in where we're coming from? Like leave you to write the exam. When you're not meant, you understand? It's just it was really shocking that they could trust that much and all. Then dressing too. Like I never liked sneakers, but when I got here, I saw that sneakers was the way. Like whenever you're coming to school, just slide your leg in and run out. Just instead of wearing leather shoes and all. Then the weather also, it was really cold. Even when the sun will be shining and everywhere will be cold. So the weather was totally different from what I was used to. So I think those are the things I could write down in that short time. These are the major things I saw as different. That was my experience. But first year was nice. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing, Anion. I can completely relate to that sneakers part. Oh my God, I don't like sneakers too, but I have to wear sneakers every time. Right. Okay. So now, if Naya.
If Naya, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I was saying that the experiences are not so different. What I'll have to add is when I got here, I just wasn't finding it easy coping with the time difference because this place is 7 hours ahead of Nigeria. So when I came here, I found out that even sleeping, we sleep because our time is backward in Nigeria. So I find it difficult to even sleep at the normal time here. So most times I fall asleep when it's like very late at night, and then I wake up late in the morning. So it was kind of affecting my schedule. But after like a month or two, I started getting used to the time difference, and I'm quite fine now. Then another thing was it's a different culture entirely. This is I'm in Hong Kong and it's actually in China. So the language is different, the food is different. And I would sorry to say this, but these people are like the Chinese people are racist and they so much dislike the blacks. So I had this experience when I first came here. Sometimes I enter the train, you enter the train and you see people standing up, like running away from you. Sometimes you're in the bus and people are avoiding making contact with you. So it kind of got into my psyche. I was feeling so bad. I had to talk to some of my Nigerian colleagues here and they told me I'll be fine, that it's just something you have to learn to live with as you stay here. So over time, I got used to it and that's quite great. So another thing was the classes, the learning mode here is online because of COVID. So most of our lectures were done online, but it's not something I'm used to coming from Nigeria. You have to attend your classes online. And the interesting thing here is as a PhD student, we don't write exams. What we do is you attend your classes and at the end of the semester, you're given 10 papers and that's it. We don't write exams here. So it was a little bit less stressful than what I was used to in Nigeria. Overall, it's been an interesting year, my first year. Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, Ifunaya. And I'm so sorry you had to go through some of this rough stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but I'm so glad to see you really smiling and bright right now. Oh, yeah. So Basit.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, so first year in graduate school. Well, so far so good. So my colleagues here, they've actually said so many things about graduate school. So I would just want to round everything off. Okay, so first thing is the culture shock. Actually, I had my first semester in France and second semester in Italy. So the first night experience was kind of culture shock because I went to France. That was last year, August. So it was still kind of sunny and the likes. So the way people dress during the summer, it was kind of different from the way we dress in Nigeria. While I was in school, it's also kind of different dresses, like the way people dress, and you'd be like, so people can actually put on stuff like this to school, stuff like that. It was really, really an eye-opener. And the way students relate with the professors. My first class, I could remember when the host manager, the program coordinator was like, he was teaching us something, then he mentioned something, then he said, what do you guys think? Then one of my colleagues said, Professor, I don't think this makes sense. In my mind, I was like, hey, this don't make sense, girl. Like, where me I came from, you can't even open your mouth and say something like that. And the man was like, yeah. So let us look at this together. While he was teaching, I was kind of lost. I was trying to go back home to see, like, to try to view my curriculum again and what's happening. So things like that are actually eye-opener for me. And then as regards the welder too, if you are coming over, you need to know the type of person you are. Do you like it cold? Don't expose yourself, things like that. Sometimes you might be sleeping when you need to be studying, to be honest. Like during the winter period, I find myself always sleeping, struggle to wake up at night to do stuff. The weather really affected me. So just like I said earlier, so far so good. We are doing well. So that's that.
Awesome. Yours is quite interesting. I mean, 2 countries, Italy, France. Whoa, moving around.
I think he's in his third country right now.
Oh, is it?
No, not really my third country. I'm still in Italy. I'm not yet. I've not left Italy yet.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to another country. Okay, awesome.
So, I mean, they're not letting you balance before they culture shock you again.
Yeah, that's actually the problem with everything. When you're trying to balance and you need to move to the next country and you need to adapt to the society, try to integrate yourself with culture and everything.
Yeah,
so it's still part of the stories, by the way.
I know. I mean, even Anil said it's also like he was going to do his second year PhD in Nigeria, so he's moving back there. So.
He will be able to cope with that now.
Anil is going back to Nigeria for second year of PhD.
Right. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing like an overview of your first year in grad school. So now we'll move on to the question and answer session.
Okay. So for our question and answer, generally, we're going to start with academics first. And I like the fact that you guys have like largely touched upon things and we have a wealth of experience to draw from. Basit's experience with the multicultural things you're having to go through with the different countries you are in for the Erasmus Mundus program. Ifnaya is also bringing the wealth of experience all the way from Asia, East Asia to be precise, and then we have Anil in the US and then Mercy in the UK. So Faida, if you can display the questions right now on academics, so we can start. So this is the one thing I would probably like to start off with, because if you go in, you mentioned it, Messi said it, the teaching style is different. Basit also said it. How stressful would you say it is settling to the different educational system? And I will target my question in this case to Basit. And that's because Messi had said something about this and said like there was a difference. And then Ifunaya also told us about exam structure and how that they just write 10 papers. But for you, you've studied in France, now you're in Italy, both countries in Europe. How stressful was it settling into that educational system and teaching style?
I would say it's kind of super stressful, even stressful than more stressful than my undergraduate, because the way these guys teach here is kind of different from the way we do it in Nigeria. Okay, France, for instance, because the way I was taught in France was different from the way I was taught in Italy. So France, for instance, I had 8 courses in first semester. So that was kind of too much for master's students, to be honest. So the way these guys do it is that they teach you maybe 3 courses at a go. Then when you are done with the 3 courses, you write exams. And before you write exams, they try to introduce the next one. It's not as if they teach you the 8 courses at once. So they teach you 3 courses, Then when you're about rounding off the courses, you write the exams in those courses. And the lab sections too were kind of different from the way we do it in Nigeria. Sometimes you have 7 hours lab section and just you and the computer and whatever you want to do. Nobody to tell you this is how you do it, or they will tell you you are a graduate student, so find a way to fix it, and they expect you to submit your reports. And so that's that about France. In Italy, the teaching style was kind of similar to that of Nigeria. They do all courses the same time, such that you are always occupied from morning to night. There is nothing like you only have your rest time during the weekend. Monday to Friday, you're occupied from morning till 6 p.m. And the type of exam they do here is that they do written and oral exam. When you pass your written exam, then you are qualified for the oral exam. So for the oral exam, you need to meet the panel and you have to justify your written exam. So the teaching style was different from that of France. So in general, in summary, I think it's quite stressful, like more stressful than what I expect, or what I actually experienced in Nigeria.
I understand it. Anil, do you want to probably buttress that with what it's like for you in the US?
Basically, I think for like from what he's saying, it's kind of a little different in the sense that we do courses, but it depends on the school. So like my school, we finish our coursework in 1 year, which is
Okay.
totally different from many schools in the US. Many schools in the US do their courses in 2 years. So the workload is really high in first year. And when in my school, so when you start your first year, you start doing rotations. So you do rotations, you are trying to what lab is best for you. You understand? So you come to school, let's say 8 a.m., you have classes till 10, from 10 p.m. to from 10 a.m. You are in the lab till maybe 4, 5, sometimes 6. Sometimes you could have something to do till 7, 8. Here I've left lab one time by 9 p.m. and there's no problem. So you get to keep working and you are checking labs. And then for him, he said when you are done with courses, you write exams at the end. But then we kind of write exams like weekly, every single week. That's because the coursework was really high. But my school is totally different from what you see in other schools. It's totally different because other schools in the US tend to spread their coursework. Like I did close to 35 exams in my first semester, close to 35. So it's different. Then they'll still be hitting you with take-home exams. And take-home exams are usually harder than the normal exams you write for 5 hours here because they expect that you have Google there, you have journals at your disposal, so you have to put in good work. And then what I know that normally in OAU, A is about 70 and above, B is 60, but here A is 90. You understand? A is 90 and above, B is 80. So when somebody's saying I'm looking for an A, I'm looking for 90. You understand? You get, but something I know I like about them, the fact that the professors are always willing to help you. Like when they see that your scores, like my supervisor, there was one time he weak me. Like I just they collect, they go on. Like I was down. I was like, this was too much for me. So my supervisor, like the professor I joined, she came to meet me. She was like, "What's going on? That my scores are going down. Scores are going down means you are getting to 85. That scores are going down." No? She understands. So you have to keep up. So, but they want to always help you. They want to come. They will come close to you, ask how they can help you, ask if you need time, ask if you need time off the lab. Those things, honestly, that's what makes it easy, better.
Yeah. Thanks, Anil. I think the beauty of this is just being able to like compare. Okay, what is it like here? What are the things you like here? And there is a difference. And then so like for the next question now, significant difference between what you are in your undergrad and what you're doing right now. If you could speak to this, that would be great because I think you have a wealth of experience having gone from OAU to UNN and then now to China. So if you could probably just speak strictly based on what you're doing academically as regards to the workload, what would you say is the difference and what have you appreciated so far between undergrad and grad school? If not, you're muted again.
I had to mute myself because of some okay. Now the grad study was more of coursework, like let's say 95% coursework, because the only time you get to do research or projects is in your final year. So from your first year to your final year, you do strictly coursework, and your progress or your success depends on how much how much effort you're putting into your studies. But at the graduate level, you're under supervision. You have a supervisor right from the first day you start your program, and your supervisor determines, let's say your supervisor determines how well you progress, even much more than you yourself. Just your supervisor can decide to frustrate you, and you might not really have much to do about it. So you're under a supervisor that determines the success or progress of your work. Then you don't do with more of you do less of coursework. Like in my school, you do coursework for just a year. So it's 90% research and 10% coursework. So the graduate level, you're expected to develop your research skills. That's why they don't pay much attention to the coursework. So that's the main difference between undergraduate and graduate study.
Okay. Well, I mean, thanks for shedding light on that. How that your program is largely research intensive right now, and undergrad was largely about coursework. So Mercy, I'll probably like you to next speak and merge these two just a bit, like a significant difference between undergrad and grad, because you're also very research intensive. And in my experience in the UK classes or master's program can be very like class intensive, that kind of thing. So speak about it, and also tell us about how do you select the right courses that you registered for in your graduate school.
Okay, so for my undergrad, yeah, I happen to have a lot of courses, like doing a lot of courses. So, but when I got to the UK, I took in my first semester, I took 3 courses, but bulky 3 courses. So I had to do lab work and all that. So the difference I actually noticed was that during my undergrad, they were not so strict on plagiarizing other people's work and all that. Not that they were not strict on it, but then there's a limit to their attention. But here in the UK, they take it as an offense. When you plagiarize any work, in fact, you are going to court. So you have to ensure that you don't plagiarize, you don't copy any work, and put your words put every statement in your own words. So we use this Turnitin of a thing. I was never used to that during my undergrad. So, but when I got to the UK, I discovered that there is this app that is being used to check your plagiarism score. So you have to use that before you submit your work. And one thing about this graduate school is that they are willing to help. The supervisors, the lecturers, they are willing to help you. So what they do is that they ensure that the link to the Turnitin, so that you can check your work for plagiarism, is being available for you, so that before you send your work for the final submission and all that, you are able to check at least if you have not exceeded the plagiarism limit, something like that. So I think it's more intensive, for grad school, and 1 year course doing a lot of things. Yeah, it's more intensive.
Okay. About how did you register for your courses? How did you know what classes to take?
They made that available to us. We had to do some registrations, get our email address, student ID, and all that. So they make sure that they send out information. So nobody was there to do the registration for us. So we kind of have detailed information on how to go about the registration of courses and the courses we are supposed to do. So I myself, I went for that to register those courses, to ensure that I also start my classes.
Okay, I think I can actually also like a little bit say that yes, you'd always have advisors helping you like figure out what courses to do. Now, when you make the move, you've all mentioned out that there is a difference between what you did undergrad in Nigeria and then what you're experiencing in your different locations across the world. So Basit, now this is for you, and it's about knowledge gap. And now that you said something about having to revisit some of the things you did in undergrad based on the program you were doing and the classes you had in France and then now in Italy. So what was that like? Did you experience any knowledge gap, anything about you're not adequate enough to like cope with what you were facing, and how did you undo that?
Okay, so during my first semester in France, my iSI, there's this particular course, embedded system. Actually, the one I did in undergrad was more of like using Arduino, blah, blah, blah. But when I got to France, it was another microprocessor, microcontroller that we had to use. And I was not familiar with it. And this stuff, they teach you in the space of like some weeks and they expect you to write exams. So it was kind of a new stuff to me and I need to start learning it from the grassroots. So I started, reaching out to some other colleagues who actually did something related to that in the undergraduate because for my program, they did not just select electrical students, they also selected people from other field, for example, robotic and automatic stuff. So I had to meet them, talk to them, and before you know it, they were able to put me through, but the result was not really that great like that. But I was still able to, to meet up with the knowledge gap. So that's that for me.
So leverage on people and then just make sure you ask the right questions.
Yeah, your colleagues. You don't need to be ashamed. You are not. You can be you can be the best graduate student from your university from Nigeria. But when you get here and you feel like you don't know stuff, you need to open up, meet people, learn on YouTube. If you feel that is not sufficient, it's not enough, meet your colleagues that you know that these people are good at it. You don't need to be ashamed. Talk to them, and some of them are actually friendly. They are ready to put you through. And you can also talk to your lecturers too.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Lecturers are always also like very quite approachable. It's funny how that this is a structure, but Aniel, and back again to you because you had also used the word rotations in your previous answer, how that you had to do lab rotations. So, okay, I think my first question will be, are you doing lab rotations? Did you ever do lab rotations? Because I know that's also like a part of the PhD program, students do lab rotations. So do you do that? Say that yes?
I did.
Okay, so I think the next question there would be that since many programs are always largely research-based for like grad degrees, what would be your advice concerning like lab rotations? Is it your choice? Do you have a say in the matter? And ultimately, how do you pick the lab to work with?
Okay, so for lab rotations, I believe it is school dependent. So some schools, like when you apply, especially for those of us that are not in the biological sciences, like all the engineering, like I've been in different group chats and US grad school preparation group chats and all. So I know how most of these engineering things work. So most times for the engineering guys, you don't get to have the luxury of lab rotations, you understand, because you tend to go into a lab directly, like you send a mail to professor and professor gets you in, so on like that. But for biological sciences, most biological sciences, I'm not saying it's not like that also, but I'm just talking about the statistics, the probabilities of you getting rotation. So it's more with the biological sciences. So it depends on the school also, because some schools have lab rotations that last 8 weeks per rotation, but mine is 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, you spend your time in lab A. After 6 weeks, you spend your time in lab B. After 6 weeks, you spend your time in lab C. Then after then, you then decide which lab you want to join. And before you even choose what labs you would go to, you would actually have to know if it's even possible for you to join, because some professors do not have funding. Even though you rotate there, they cannot take you. You understand? And more so, some professors may just want postdocs. Even though you rotate there, they will not take you. So you have to ask those questions first. Then I always tell people that before you go to grad school, there was a lab that you always wanted to join. There was a lab you liked, the best lab you liked. I always tell people that you should make that your second rotation. If you make that your first rotation, when you are in your third rotation, you would have forgotten most of the experience you had in that your most preferred lab. If you make that your most preferred lab your third rotation, you would be biased in the sense that is your most recent rotation. So you understand? So I tell them, put it in the middle. Let the lab that you are not really interested in, but you want to learn some stuff from, let it be in your first. Let another lab be in your third. Then put that one you like in your second. And I feel that also when you are doing your rotations, you should be very, very open-minded, because as much as you want to do blah blah blah, you want to cure HIV/AIDS, you want to cure Down syndrome, blah blah blah, and so on. That is major thing about grad school is getting trained, because training continues for life. Research continue for life. So the point is, where is best for you? Where can you relate more? Where do you learn? Like I learned how to use the pipette here, like how to press, go to first stop, second stop. I learned it here. Do you understand? So where best can you learn? Where best do you feel comfortable? You understand? Where best can you, air your views? Which kind of professors do you like? Some professors are micromanagers, some professors are macro managers, such that micromanaging professors would want to always be with you, tell you put in 2 meals into 2 meals, or put in 2 meals into 5 meals. But the macro managing professor will be in his office. Whenever you are done, come and tell me what you did. So which one would be best for you? Some people don't want to be monitored. Some people don't hang around me. Don't be a helicopter parent around me. You understand? But some other people want you to pull like me. To be honest, I know where I'm coming from. I do not have enough techniques. So I'll be fine being managed like in a macro way, at least starting in my first and second year. Tell me what to do. Then in my third year, you can leave me to the best of the year, leave me to the beast of the field. You understand? I don't have any issues with that. So I just feel you should always look at all those things before you choose a lab, just so that you don't make mistakes. Yeah.
Beautiful, amazing. So all of that just consider, but just one clarifying question. Do you get to rotate in just 3 labs? Is that all you do? 3 labs?
Basically, yes, but some departments will tell you that if we are done with your 3 rotations and you are still not convinced, because they know that this is like a 5-year thing. You don't want to be frustrated all the way. You understand? They don't want you to feel bad. So they can give you a choice of a 4th rotation. Some departments will even tell you that you can go to another department to do a rotation there. If they don't have any other options for you. So it depends on the school.
I get it. So you could. So I just wanted to ask. So to our audience, I know you cannot unmute yourself. But if you have any questions based on what we are currently discussing, we would have a separate section later for like Q&A for like the general audience. If you have any questions based on what any of the speakers are saying or what anyone has mentioned so far, just drop it in the chat box. We would find a way to incorporate that into the next questions that we do ask them. So we're right now going all the way again to Hong Kong. And this is because primarily the language stands out. If not, can you hear me? So,
okay,
yeah. So for those of you raising your hand, sorry, you just went off on video for me. I think it was just the hand raising. Just type your questions into the chat box, please. Type your questions into the chat, and we will pick them from there. So if not, language barrier, what has that been like for you? And how are you overcoming it? How are you dealing with it? Just
I wouldn't say I've completely overcome the barrier. It is still there.
Okay. Yeah, that's not how are you dealing with that?
Yeah. When I got here, it was quite difficult, Though we have some English speaking, we have some English speakers here, so to say, because this was formerly a British colony, but that's just a small percentage. But when I'm in university, I don't have problem because we have professors and they speak English. But outside the university, outside university community, that's where the problem comes. So what I do is I had this Google Translate app. When I want to buy things, I just go with my app, then I type in the app and show whoever I want to buy from. Then because I had some of my I made friends with some of the Chinese ladies here. So sometimes I want to if I really need to get something and I feel I need this person to interpret for me, then I had to beckon on them to help me out. So that's how I've been maneuvering all along, but it's not easy. That's the truth. It's not that easy.
So you leveraged on people, you're also leveraging on technology.
Sure.
Just out of curiosity, what language are you having to speak in Hong Kong? Like the general people, is it Mandarin Chinese?
They speak Cantonese.
So it's not even Mandarin Chinese.
No, not Mandarin. They speak Cantonese. And
so do you speak any Cantonese at all?
I only know how to say maybe yes. That's the only thing I've learned because it's quite a very difficult language. I tried learning, but even you see the alphabets are like symbols, like artwork. So it's so difficult to learn. But so far I've been leveraging technology. Then some of my Chinese friends here have been very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot on your hands already with research and the papers from your courses. Adding Cantonese language to it is going to be one heck of a challenge. I can understand that. Oh wow, interesting. So this question, actually, the next question, I would say I'm giving it up for the taking. If there's any takers about you don't have research experience prior and you want to function as a research assistant, how do you go bridge that gap? So anyone wants to take that for about 30 seconds, maybe, please?
Okay, I can just attend to that. What they do here, I think they are actually very fair in my school because, like Hanel, when I came here, I couldn't even use the pipette correctly. So what they do here is they organize training as you're coming in. for a PhD, there are trainings, there are scientific officers assigned to you to train you on everything. And here they have very sophisticated equipment, as in a really sophisticated one. So you undergo intensive training, right? And you are trained until you're able to use those things on your own. So let's say after your training section, you are given something to do to operate a particular equipment. Let's say you want to use the GCMS. So if you want to operate it, you have a scientific officer there monitoring you. They don't leave you on your own until they're satisfied that you can operate on your own. Then that's when you can start running those equipment on your own. So you have to undergo serious training on how to use the equipment you have in the lab. Then when the officers are satisfied with your performance, then they can now approve you to use them on your own. Then from there, you can go ahead with your research. So that's how it's done here.
Sorry. Now I'm the one muted. So I said that was beautiful. Mercy, 8 research publications in peer-reviewed journals, authored and co-authored and joint authored and fully authored. What would you advise like someone, no research experience, wanting to do grad school? How do you function as a research assistant?
Okay.
Like
so
your shortest answer, what would be your shortest answer? Like these are the 5 keys to success.
my advice is for the person to be intentional. So I think if you are determined to learn something, or you're determined to know something, something like that, you will want to, build relationships with maybe fellow researchers or supervisors. And then you can also go out of your way by maybe watching YouTube videos. So I don't know if I answered that question, how to function as a research assistant without.
Yeah, I think you did. I honestly think
so
you did.
just be intentional, meet people that know about it. And also in my lab year, when I got into the UK, although I had prior knowledge about research and all that, but when I got to the UK, they also kind of organized training, like an induction before you start laboratories and all that. So I think you should just, when you're intentional about something or you're determined to do it, you actually go out of your way to learn. Thank you.
Okay. Beautiful. Aniel, I'm gonna put you in a tight spot right now. Are you ready for it?
Yes, I am.
I see you are moving away so that I don't box you in that tight spot that you were verbally. But this is going to be my question.
There's essentially like spinning, so I don't want you to,
Okay, that's okay. So building relationships with professors. I want to combine these last 2 questions and just hear your take in less than a minute, because we have like a whole lot of other questions in some other sections for like all of our panelists. You're building relationships with your professors and lab mates, and then you're also managing being, say, a teaching assistant, attending classes, doing research. I'm sure you have some folks and some of your mates who are teaching assistants. And like, how do you merge both of them well?
Okay, so
also like bearing in mind the fact that your professors could be micromanagers or they might not be. So how do you make sure you're doing very well as you guys managing the relationship and managing your time well?
Okay, so for me, I'm not a teaching assistant, I'm a research assistant.
Okay.
And in my school, we are all research assistants. Like, it's a medical school, it's totally everybody's serious for it. So what I know is it's not easy. It's totally not easy. I would always tell people that graduate school is not something you just come because you just want to come. It's difficult. Today is Saturday, and honestly, I'm going to be here till 8 p.m. or 9. She understand. Yesterday I left the lab by 8. She understand. Last week Sunday after church, I went to a driving school, like a driving training. After driving training, I was by Lamborghini. So after the driving training, I got to the lab. I left the lab 9:30 p.m. So it's not easy, but you have to run it. You have to do it, and it depends on you. It depends on what works for you. I work best when nobody's around. I can play my music. She understand. So it's you being you, but as well as being open-minded, because if you shut your mind and be like, oh, maybe these people are not the same color as I am, or these people do not speak the same language, or these people do not eat the same food, like you want to come here and be eating amala and ewedu, you understand, they're eating pizza, you understand? And they are fine with it, they are good, they're all right, you understand? Some of them, you understand? So you have to be open-minded. Try and when you go out, you eat little of what they eat. It's just small. You taste it, you understand? It's just small. You try to mingle. Honestly, you can't work well if you do not have a good aura around you, if you do not have a good relationship with your boss, because I think someone said it in the first one of us said it, that it's your boss that determines when you graduate. Honestly, it is your boss. So if I know it is in my stuff that I'm supposed to be done with my PhD in 2026. If my boss says I'll not be done, I will not be done. You're not going anywhere. You understand? Some people spend 7 years in PhD programs in the US. Fine, yeah, because their boss, they are not convinced yet that you've been trained. So how would your boss be convinced you've been trained when you do not have a good relationship with the person? When the person does not know what you are doing in the lab, you are just far away. She has to always call you to, So those are the things you have to mind. You understand? And also your lab mates also, because as much as you think that you are smart, some things are not learned from the books. You understand? Some things are not learned from the books. Then you might in the book they will tell you put 2 meals of this and this. But that does not work because that's not the same antibody that they are using in this lab. But you ask your guy here, they'll be like, I was looking for one something one time. I searched the whole freezer. I didn't see it. It was one of our guys. He just kept it somewhere. And they just asked him, he was like, it's there. And I just picked it. So if you don't have a good relationship with people, life will be messed up for you. Really messed up. That's why when you are choosing a lab, please choose a lab you are comfortable with. Do you understand? As much as, and let your top priority with being comfortable be your boss, because every student in the lab that is there before you would leave. Your boss is the person you have more interactions with, because the 4th-year student there will leave in 2 years. The 3rd-year student there will leave in 3 years. Your boss will always be there. So you have to always have a good relationship with your boss first. I just believe that's the major thing.
Understood. Wow. Thank you for that. That was very encompassing, honestly. And thank you, iPhone, in the chat for trying to give a summary of what Daniela said. Final question, honestly, before we go to the next one, I'm guessing. Basit, with all of your experience right now, what do you think would be all of what you have to say and you would advise people? What would you say is the most rewarding adventure or exercise that a grad student should probably focus on in order to excel on campus?
All right. So in order to excel on campus, I would say it's time management, to be honest. You need to be time conscious, because graduate school is not just about going abroad, taking nice picture or doing all those stuff. Please, when you come here, you need to know that you are coming here to work. Just like Anya and some of my other colleagues have mentioned, you are going there to work. Most times you spend your time in the lab. You're always receiving lectures and the likes. So you need to manage your time. Know when to use the social media, know when to read, know when to plan yourself. Sometimes there was a particular time I was even sleeping before 12, just to make sure that I wake up at midnight to do my assignment, do report, and complete some other stuff, and even read ahead of the lecture for the next day. So things like that. And there are some unnecessary activities you need to cut off during the semester. You can't just come here and you can't just come to graduate school and you keep some activities that are not really necessary. So you have to cut off some stuff out of your life. All those things that actually give you joy. I'm sorry to say, you might just need to reduce them just for the sake of graduate school. Focus on what matters. And when you are done with the semesters, you can always go back to those things, take time, enjoy them. And when school resumes again, you eat that again. So that's how it works over here, to be honest. There's no time for, going around paparazzing and things like that. So that's just a time management, to be honest.
Amazing. I'm sure people just honestly have to learn to get a very good divide between balancing all of that. So thank you guys. Faida, over to you for the next section.
Wow, thank you so much.
I know it took a lot of time on academics. It was
yeah, of course. I mean, that's our primary assignment. So it's very important for us to get as much nuggets as we can from the panelists. Thank you, our panelists, for sharing your very valuable responses. I mean, I could relate to so many things that you guys were saying, and I'm like, okay, annual 35 exams every week, and you're like, did I come here to be writing exam every time? Yeah. So moving on. So like Mayako said, so we got so many questions from you guys over the week, and we put them into different buckets that we think are very important for you as you start a new life in a very new place. So academics, finance, housing, social, and then life generally. So we're moving on to finance right now. And so I know that when you got that offer from the university you're going to, and then you saw the dollar amount, you're like, in your head, the first thing you possibly did was to multiply it by whatever the rate is at the moment. You're like, oh, I'm gonna be earning $1 million. Wow. So I'm a millionaire now, but really, are you really a millionaire? So I allow the panelists to walk us through all of these things. So the first question here is, okay, it's even about getting extra funding. I guess this person is interested in making more money, you know? So can you get extra funding when you begin your program? How? Mercy, what do you think about this?
Okay, for Commonwealth, I'm on a Commonwealth shared scholarship.
Mhm.
So you cannot get extra funding. So it's for a year and you are being given stipend and all that. So you can't get extra funding while you are on your program. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
just a simple answer to
Okay.
that.
Great, thank you for that, Mercy. Basit, Basit first. Can you get extra funding on Erasmus Mundus scholarship?
Not really. No.
Not really. Okay. Ifunaya, for your program, can you get extra funding?
You can get extra funding, though not my school, but other schools in Hong Kong, like I'm on studentship, I get my stipend from the university. But I have a friend in another school that actually applied for, there's this program, scholarship by the Hong Kong government. It's called Road and Bell Scholarship. So he was able to win the scholarship from the government while getting his stipend from the university. So it's very possible here in Hong Kong, though
Okay.
not in my school.
Oh, that's good to know. So Anya, what do you think in the US? Can we get extra funding?
Yes, you can actually, because you can actually apply for grants. So sometimes when you apply for grants, like my stipend right now, let's say my stipend right now is 28,000 per month, per year, if it's per month. Okay, let's focus. So amen. So my stipend is 28 per year. So when you apply for grants, and they'll kind of split it such that your stipend kind of increases to like 30. But most times it does not get more than that. And anything you get, it's on the lab's name. So there are some fundings or there are some grants you get and it does not add to your money. You understand, but it adds to the grant available. So whatever you want to spend, like you want to buy primer, you want to get DNA from blah blah blah, that is where the money will come from. So it helps your lab go forward. You understand? And majorly, honestly, for me, actually, it's not really about the money is good, but to be honest, in science, if you are looking for money, you would not see, honestly. The major thing grants do for us is just CV. It adds to our CV, that's all. Because honestly, the money is small. It just making far more now. Like
Right.
That's
Right. Thank you for sharing that. And I think I could also have that in the US, there's some other ways to get like extra funding would be fellowships. So within the university or even within your department, they could have some fellowships or scholarships that maybe it's for people in second year or first year. So you can always try to apply for things like that. The value might be maybe $5,000 or even $1,000 or something. And since we're even talking about funding and stuff, we should also remind everyone that the amount you see on your offer letter is the amount before tax. Don't forget, there's still something called tax. Right. So moving on. So how do you manage your finances as a graduate student? Basit.
You receive a fixed amount every month, so you need to cut your costs. Like people say, you cut your clothes according to your size. So you know how much you pay for your housing accommodation, for feeding, transportation, if you transport yourself to school, and some other side attractions like 2K, bus, do me urgent 2K, things like that. So you need to cut your costs according to what you have on ground. But for me, I feel it's sufficient because I actually don't need to do extra job to actually how will I put it, cater for myself. And my program is actually intense. From morning to night, you're always in school. So they don't even expect you to do anything. It was kind of designed in that form. so that you don't even have time for any other thing aside that stuff that brought you to abroad. So it is really, really sufficient. So I pay for accommodation, for my feeding, transportation, and some other things like, boy stuff and things like that.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Basit. So Ifunaya, what's it like managing your finances as a grad student in Hong Kong? I think you're on mute.
Okay, yeah, just like Basit has said, you have to cut your costs according to how much you're making, because you can't practically do an extra job while on a PhD in my case, because most times I'm in the lab, you don't even have the extra time. So PhD is a job and they're paying you. So anything you're getting from here, you have to spend accordingly. So, but the issue here, for instance, is things are quite expensive. If you check Google, Google will tell you Hong Kong is the second most expensive place in the world to live. So you don't have to really live comfortably as a student, but you have to know the basic, I think you have to prioritize the basic things you need, and those are things you should really be spending on, because you can't meet every need here. You wouldn't even have enough money for that. So know what to prioritize and go for those things.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, Ifunaya. And you actually mentioned something which I think we would still talk about. That's doing extra work while being a grad student. So we're going to come to that after. So how can I build a very good credit score? So I've directed this to Anya because I know that in the US, credit score is very important. Not sure what it's like in the UK and Europe, but Mercy, Basit, you're going to let us know. So Anya, how can we build a very good credit score?
Okay, so I just think it's about when you collect money, sharp it back. That's like the summary of it, because what people do here sometimes is when they get here, honestly, people think that whenever you get here and let's say they're paying you 30K per year. 30K is not big money here. Like your rent is probably going to take close to 30% of that money, and light bill day, water bill day, blah, blah, blah. So what people do end up doing is they get to collect credit cards from different credit companies. You collect credit card from MasterCard, you collect credit card from Campus Federal, you collect credit card from this, and you are owing on different, but what people always don't remember is the fact that these credit cards are always tied to your SSN. So it's just like everything is tied to you, right? Fine. So when the interest start pumping up, you get stranded, and then problem, you understand? So what I just tell people is whenever you want to borrow or you want to use your credit stuff, have it in mind that you're going to pay back. You understand? Like me, sometimes what I do to build my credit score is I use my credit card to pay everything I'm paying for except my rent, because my landlord prefers cash. So if I'm paying for my lights, if I'm paying for somebody sent me $, should him or happy for GRE, I'll use my credit card to do it, because let me say he sent $200 to pay for GRE, I use my credit card to pay for the GRE, then immediately the $200 he sent me, I'll repay back. That sense, I've done a transaction with them. My credit score has, that stopped, even though like I'm not actually owing them, but I just used it to do a transaction. So that's what I do, is like that's how I do the thing. So whenever I want to pay for anything, I use my credit card to pay, because I know I have the money in my debit card, and I just send the money, and that's all. Just borrow and pay. Don't borrow and pay.
Yeah. That's very true. You should always pay back and pay your full balance at the end of the month before your billing cycle closes, if not. And we should never ever get into the temptation of getting as many credit cards as possible, because the offers keep coming. I mean, there's so many credit card companies, and then in your mailbox every day you see one from Capital One, or one from American Express, or one from this and that. Yeah. So Mercy, what's it like in the UK?
In the UK, I've not actually come across this credit cards thing. But what I know, in some of these stores, they have something called Nectar card. So when you buy something from these stores, you can always use your Nectar card. Like, let's say, for example, you buy something of £35. you put in your nectar card, it starts reading, something like that. So the more you buy, the more points you get. So that's the only way you can get something, from buying, at some of these stores. But in the UK, you just open a bank account. You can either use your use your bank card to pay for stuffs, or then you can now get this nectar card from some of these stores like Sainsbury, Iceland. Some of these stores use nectar cards. So once you start buying things from them, you have a score, a point. So you start having points, and you can use it to buy stores later when you want to. So that's it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mercy. I must also recognize our iSI management team on the call, Staff Femi Fajolu and Dr. Olufemi Akombi. We apologize that we didn't recognize iPhone, but yes, you can unmute yourself now. I see you've been raising your hand for a while now.
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
Akombi.
Sir, I'm very sorry. I made a mistake and unmuted. I was trying to ask you to unmute. Can you try unmuting now, please?
You can unmute, it's a course now.
Oh, yeah, but you did that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Faidat, and every members of the panel. Appreciate, I can see there are a lot of people on the call. Just a quick comment. I think most of our panelists have said so much. I raised up my hand because I wanted to add just one comment. Let me go quickly to the issue of credit score in the US. I think Anil said it all. However, there is one thing that I will always advise is, just like Faida said, please don't lay your hands on too much credit cards. They are lowering you, they are asking you to get this. And one other thing is the fact that it's not the amount of money that you spent on the credit card that gives you a good credit score. You can just get that credit card, maybe $200 limit. Just use it to buy pizza, $10, pay back the following week before they start charging you interest. That will give you a good credit score. It's just to show that you are responsible. You borrow or you use the money and you pay back. That's all that counts toward credit score. It's not the amount of money that you spend on that card, and it's not the number of credit cards you have. Please don't lure yourself into taking as many credit cards as possible just to, in the spirit of you are trying to build your credit score. You can have one card or two cards and have maybe monthly you spend like $30 on it and pay back. You'll be sure that at the end of the day, you're going to have a very good credit score. And the other thing I wanted to talk about or mention that I raised up my hand and I've been said, it's the issue of, I think this goes to people who are yet to get admission. I think we may have some people like that on this call. Please, the issue of choosing the right advisor and professor is very, very important. Like people have said, you're going to encounter so many challenges, issues. But if you don't have a good lab or good professor, that may also complicate the issue. But if you do have a good advisor or professor as your advisor, he or she is going to help you out. You're going to have somebody you can fall back or run to or have your back and go by and cry on to and say, sir or ma, I'm going through this. I need your help. And believe me, they're going to step in and help you. So again, when you are choosing this lab, choosing this professor, bear this in mind that having somebody who can have your back is very, very important, especially in graduate school. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having that, Dr. Akombi. Very quickly, see Mr. Fajulu also raising his hand because finance is a very, very important stuff. So I can totally understand. So Mr. Fajulu,
I'm so sorry that I had to chip in. I've been learning a lot from you guys, and I must commend our panelists and the moderators. I actually had to join this meeting this morning because somebody called me from Iowa, and my kids were in the car with me, and it was so basically desperate, asking for me to send a link to these meetings. Like, I'm stuck, I need help. my daughter were like, how did he get your phone number? I'm like, yeah, that is why we are here. That's why we have to make our information available. And so what I'm saying basically is you guys are doing exactly what needs to be done. I quickly want to say something about the finance issue because it's very, very important. If you make a mistake now, as far as this credit card or credit history are concerned, it might impact, it might literally impede your ability to even have phone in this country. So that's why I wanted to chip in. When you talk about your credit score, there are a lot of factors. Let me mention a few of them. The utilization. Utilization means the proportion, the percentage of the credits that you have used. That is, for example, if you put all the credit cards you have together and the total amount that have been assigned to you is like, for example, maybe 50,000, and you have quickly chop 30,000 of it, guess what? That is 60% utilization versus somebody that is managing spending 5,000 or even 2,000. That is like maybe 1%, 2%. Guys, I'm on a call. So so that's like, so your utilization is very, very important. Then the recency of your latest card. Like if you are the kind of person that get a card today, in 3 months you get another one, in 5 months you get another one, in 10 months you get another one. So the recency, the how latest it is, you get your recent card is very, very impacting on your credit score. Then how you are paying back, you understand me? So you make sure that, like I think Hania said it, Dr. Akambi also said it, make sure you are paying back whatever you spend on your credit card. So I think I mentioned it, credit history. Of course, now you guys don't have to worry about credit history because that is when you graduate and hopefully by the grace of God, you get a bigger job and you want to buy a car or you want to buy a house. That is when credit history becomes important. Credit history is how long have you been in the system? How long ago have you been paying consistently? How long have you been using your credit score? So that they're going to consider then. Then that's what they call big ticket item. If all you are using your credit card to buy is buy pizza, buy gas, pay electricity bill, buy GRE like an ESL, those are consumables. They are not considered big ticket item. But when you buy a car, put it on your credit score and you are paying back that car, maybe you finance your car for like 5 years and you stay consistently without missing a payment. That is big ticket item. That would definitely shoot up your even within 6 months. If you have started paying off your car, paying your car, and you are paying regularly for 6 months, you can check the difference it's going to make on your credit score. So but as you are now, don't think about big ticket item, just focus on school. Hopefully I will be able to, I see some of the points that have been made maybe before the end of, if I get another opportunity to talk, but I really want to listen to our panelists because they are doing a good job.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fajiri. Thank you for
please, sorry to cut you off. I'm about to drop off, but I need to just make one quick comment regarding the finance. Okay. And it goes thus, guys. I know a lot have been said about your allowance being enough for your schooling, accommodation. I think what you are being offered, if you are very prudent and you face and you understand what is meant for, is more than enough. I think the mistake some of us make when we come to the US or any other country is that moment we want to start sending money back home. Guys, please don't let anybody put you under pressure. You are a student. You are being sponsored. I think some of us just get here and we think, oh, yes, I understand we have different family issues going back home, but the first few months here, get yourself streamlined that what you are being given is enough to put you through the finances that you have to pay for in school so that you don't subject yourself to any pressure other than the academics. But sometimes I've seen scholars getting themselves involved, sending money back home or trying to even build house or start to want to buy a big car. No, you can't. The people who gave you the money as scholarship, as funding, they know the purpose at which you need that money for. So don't get yourself embroiled in something else that will create pressure and you won't be able to focus on your academics. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Akombi. Thank you again, Mr. Fajolu. So that we don't stay on this session for more than how many hours, we'll have to go through the next questions as quickly as possible. So the next question is about deficits. I think possibly for people who have partial funding, how do you think they can get funding to accommodate their deficit? Mercy, I think maybe this is common in the UK. I'm not sure. Not so sure, but yeah. How so far? How have you seen people? Maybe people that you know that have deficit. How have you seen them like kind of accommodate
Well,
the deficit?
I've not really heard of people having deficit, but I've been able to interact with some a few I think self-funded students. Yes. So some of them work to get, because here in the UK, you are on a contract, something like that. So you are not to breach a contract. So once you're on a contract, you make sure you pay when you are supposed to pay. So that's how it works in the UK, because you are going to sign. And once you sign, you are not, there's no escape route for you. So you have to, so what, from my conversation with some of these self-funded students, so what they do is that they work and then pay their money, something like that. But for deficit, I'm not sure.
Okay. Thank you. We'll move on to the next question, and that's the last question. So yes, I knew we're going to come to something like this. So tips on how to make extra cash for oneself in graduate school, especially for self-sponsored. So I would want Basit to take this question, but before you go on, Basit, I just want to give a comment on this from the US perspective. So for people coming to the US, your visa doesn't allow you to work outside your university. So F1 visa, you cannot do any other job outside your university. So you should always check if your visa allows you to do extra work. So Basit.
For Erasmus Mundus scholars, it might be actually be difficult for you to work outside your academics because you don't really have that time to even work. You're always engaged from morning till night. But I have some other colleagues who are working. I have a friend in the UK who is a self-sponsored student. Most times his program is always virtual, is always online. So he also works like caregiver type of work to raise money and stuff like that. And I also have some friends doing Erasmus program, self-sponsored actually. They can actually work during the weekend, over the weekend, yeah. They also make money too.
Okay, awesome. I think that will also cover for the UK. And if Naya has mentioned previously that PhD would not even give you time to do extra work while in Hong Kong. So that's all for finance. So we'll move on to the next bucket, and that's housing.
Yes, thanks for that. In the words of Anil, said 30% of whatever it is you can get in the US as stipend already goes to housing. So Farida, can you probably just like shoot 2 questions at a time so I can, yeah. So because they can be very related. Interesting questions. Some of these questions I'll probably tailor them towards the first one. I'll go to Ifnaya because then I'll probably have Anil also say something about this because I'm guessing we have a lot of US folks in the audience. Let's see if I can do better with time. So probably let's keep our answers like less than a minute so that we can do better with time. So Ifnaya, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So if now, how did you go about getting accommodation for your PhD program in Hong Kong? Did you have to like get the accommodation before leaving Nigeria? Did you know where you were going to stay? How did you plan where you're going to arrive? Go from the airports to your apartment. How did you do that?
Okay, you can actually get an accommodation while in Nigeria with the school. You can apply to the school for accommodation. But in my own case, I resumed a little bit late. So by then the accommodation was filled up. But I had some Nigerian colleagues here that are already connected with while in Nigeria. So they were able to help me to secure somewhere. I just had to send some money and they paid, and that was it. So, but yes, while still in Nigeria, you can apply to the school, but you have to apply early, so that you have to apply within the stipulated time so that you'll be able to get a space.
Okay, before that for the school, what you mean there is like for on-campus accommodation, right?
Yeah, for the campus accommodation.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. But then you leverage on people for like, if you're going to try to stay off campus, try to find Nigerians or anybody who can help you there to get something that is off campus. And that's what you did.
Yeah, even here, there's also this app here for Hong Kong housing app. You can get the app that if you want to stay outside the campus. While in Nigeria, I had the app, but I really wanted to stay in school. So you can get the app. In the app, you meet lots of agents, and with them, you can actually make an arrangement. If you can get a comfortable place, then you pay, and when you resume, you go to you park into your house. So it's possible.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Aniel, for the US audience, I'm guessing accommodation before leaving Nigeria, when you get to the US, also, how do you go about comparing accommodation prices? So, you know, is this so expensive? Is this good enough for me? How do you make that decision between, okay, I'm taking the stipend of say 24,000, 25,000 or 30,000 a year? What are the rates of the houses in this area? How do you decide whether the rent per month is too expensive or not? How do you bridge that gap?
Just because I have to be quick. So first of all, I would advise everybody going to the US not to get accommodation before you get here, because you just see things on TV. As much as you think that you get scammed, you can also get, in quotes, scammed here, because there are different places you don't want to be in. You don't want to live in the hood. You don't want to live far from school. You don't want to live in a house where the insulation is not good. I know someone that paid close to $500 for energy, just energy bills. What we pay, the highest I've paid for energy bills is $150, and you know that's because it was really cold. Like, whenever it is cold, your house is supposed to, the stuff inside your house is supposed to warm up, right? So when it warms up, the lady's house does not keep in the heat. It leaves. And she did not know. She took the house from, you know, she was in Ecuador. So she took the house, before, you understand that kind of thing. So you have to get here, ask questions, know how the house is before you get in. Sometimes you can also get into a house and you get there, you don't see a refrigerator, you don't see washing machine, you don't see drying machine. And this thing comes with houses normally here. So, and you still see that these houses will still be the same price with the one that has this thing. So it's just best, honestly, get here first. That's why I tell people, if you are resuming August 1st, get here July 13, get here July 14, so that you get to settle down and know how things go. And also you have to also then how do you know what is expensive?
Yeah, you're right. How do you know if you're paying too much?
Yes, the thing about it is whatever you are given as your stipend is calculated for you to live in that particular place. So if you are comparing what you have here with what you have in New York, it's totally different. You understand? Because things are more expensive there. People are more there, blah, blah, blah. Things are happening there. This place is like, you know, village. You get, so the point is when you check around, you see the average for 2-bedroom and 2 toilet, 2-bedroom and 1.5 toilet, 2-bedroom, you know, stuff like that. So you have to ask other graduate students and ask them what they are doing. And most times ask international students. Do not ask domestic students, because they're used to naira, dollar. They're used to dollar. She understands. So ask international students. We know what we are facing. We know how it is for us. So imagine, I know of someone who pays 900 for a house. I pay 450. She's fine with 900. She's fine. It's nothing to her. I mean, she understand, it's fine. Her mom may be sending money. I mean, which of my moms wants to send money? Now, you understand that kind of thing. So you have to ask international students, ask them, don't ask domestic students. Then how do you secure affordable? Yeah, for securing accommodation, usually what I tell people to do is when you are coming to grad school, the first person you should always be talking to is your graduate coordinator. This is the person that the department is hiring you. So the department has that obligation to make you comfortable. Of course, they're not the ones that will take you by the hand and, you know, put you here, take you by the hand and put you there, but in any way they can help, let them help. And they cannot help you if they do not know you do accommodation, to talk to your graduate coordinator, ask how far, is there any house available? Are any students moving or not? Most times when students are moving, they send messages to the school and be like, I'm moving. Is there any student that wants to pick my place and stuff like that? So you have to make sure that your graduate coordinator is like your first friend there. Make sure you communicate very well, and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I probably buttress that, I would say that yeah, all of what you said, and just one thing, every student that's coming in should work well with their Office of International Programs. They are called different things across different schools. I don't know what's it called in your school. The office that handles things for international students. What's that called in your school?
No, for my school, we don't have that office, but most schools they do.
Oh, okay. That's beautiful, because it could be Office of Foreign Affairs, it could be
Yes.
Office of Foreign Programs. My school is called Office of International Programs. They would always probably try to like facilitate telling you what is available. Some students are moving out, because sometimes when you take a lease from students who are moving out, it might be cheaper and all of that. You don't have to like sign a new contract if people there have done it well. So yes, that is very good. And honestly, Basit, you've had to live in France, in Italy. And so you've definitely been in the market for houses. From your experience, how do you go about securing accommodation? And then, of course, how would you advise securing an affordable accommodation in an expensive area? That's an interesting question, because I'm guessing this question is from, like Aniel had said, if you're going to stay in New York City. I was working with a friend one time who was going to pay about $12,000 to $14,000 to school in New York City for housing only in a year. And it's just like a small one-room apartment. So that's a lot. So, but what would you advise based on your experience and what you've seen? I'm guessing it also applies in several other places.
Okay, for France, the cost of housing in France is kind of expensive. For mine, when I was in France, it was about let me say 40% of my stipend. But the joy about this stuff is that the French government actually gives you 40% of your rent every month. So when you pay that amount, you should be rest assured that every month you receive, there's something they call CAF from the French government. In as much as you're a student and you study in France, you will surely receive that amount back. So for example, if you pay like 400 euros every month, definitely means you get about 200 or something out of your of the rent you pay. But in Italy, it's kind of very, very, very cheap compared to France. And it depends on the city, to be honest. But in Italy, I pay less. Yeah. So that's how it works. And for France, I had to pay for the accommodation before going. And you guys need to be very, very wise, because there are a lot of scammers out there, Yahoo boys, they just want to get your money. People are there, they will tell you, pay. Like, some people can actually fake documents and they will look real. They just want to get your money. So make sure you meet, like you connect with Nigerian students, those people you know that are scholars already in the city, so that he can give you the right platform to apply for accommodation.
Beautiful. Ties back to what Aniel had also said. So if I could ask one other thing to you, Basit, about like when you stayed in France and France was expensive. Now I understand that the government paid you 40% of like what you were paying. So in essence, you only pay 60% of the rent. But it's very expensive. Did you just settle for any option you had, or you could find affordable accommodation?
Actually, I had to move in very, very fast. So the preparation was not really that, planned. So I had to settle down for that. But along the line, I was thinking I was going to change accommodation, but school activities and everything really got off, and there was no time to change. And I knew I was just going to stay there for just 6 months. So why stress around and go around looking for accommodation? So I just had to make do of what I had at that particular point in time.
Okay. Mercy, I'm coming over now to the UK, and just give up a brief about like what accommodation was like for you. I know you're like a Commonwealth baby, so like the Commonwealth like get all this sorted for you, and also in your experience for people who are coming on some partially funded programs to the UK, fully funded programs, or some other kind of scholarships, because I know there are several kinds of scholarships. How do they sort out accommodation? How do they make those decisions? How did you make your own decision? So if you could say a little about that.
Okay, thank you very much. So while I was coming to the UK, yes, for Commonwealth scholars, you will have a contact person. So make sure that you are in touch with your contact person, because she's the one that, or he or she, sorry, he or she will kind of give you information about housing, how to settle and all that in the UK. So while I was coming to the UK, our contact person actually advised us on housing options and all that. She gave out some options. So, and she was like, okay, this is one option close to the school and all that. So I kind of weighed my option because some other scholars were like, there are houses around, you can use an app. There was this Amber, I think Amber Students. There's this app. I was trying to look out for cheaper houses and houses closer to my institution. So those were the things I looked out for before, getting, a place to stay in the UK. So, but then my contact person kind of made a suggestion on the houses that are available and all that. So I think I went with our own suggestion actually, because the stress was too much for me looking for houses. I'll check the app and all that. I will not see anyone close by. And I'll be like, okay, well, anything, let me just. So, and I think the fee was high actually. But then I was like, I just have to take this because it's kind of closer to if I should be coming from Glasgow to my university, I will have to take transport and all that. Like I'll be on the road for 1 hour. Glasgow down to my university is around 1 hour, 30 minutes. So I don't want to, I looked at all those things. So I think students should just make sure they reach out to their contact person, reach out to other international students who have lived in the UK, something like that, and then weigh their options, and from there they can secure a place.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. I think what we also mentioned something that I was going to say ties back to what Anil had said. I think it's good to leverage the technology. For me personally, I can say when I was coming, I did not pay before coming like Anil advised, so I followed your advice before you even advised it. But I used like leverage of Google Map and all of that just to find places close to school and know the kind of options you have. And then I had it out to speak into Nigerians, and that helped a great deal. So I was like settled when I came. I'm going to have Dr. Akombi speak in just a minute, but before he speaks, I see his end up. I just want to, if Naya, just, you had said something already about like housing and then speak to people and all of that. But for you, if I can see, I mean, for you, the ease of securing accommodation in your area and in Hong Kong generally, and maybe some other parts of Asia, what would you say that is like, the ease of securing accommodation?
Yeah, I already said earlier that like when I was seeking accommodation in Nigeria, like a friend introduced me to this app. And that app, you have lots of agents that are registered. They are quite registered. So the probability of getting scammed is quite low. So I was able to connect with some agents. Then when I identified a place, because on the app, you see the location of the place, how close it is to school, it will be there for you. So when I was able to get a place, I had a colleague here from Nigeria, so I had to beg him to go help me check out the place because I resumed quite late, so I couldn't just risk coming here without getting any accommodation. So I had to beg the colleague to go help me check out the place. Then when he checked the place, it was okay, and I paid. So I think with that, like others have said, if you can get some of these apps, or if you have international students that can help you, check out, like Hania said, you don't take the risk of paying because you might get there and it turns out not being what you want. You might see a very flashy picture in the app, but in the reality, it's different. So if you can make some contacts that can help you check out where exactly you are paying for, or if you can wait till you resume, then you go check out the place yourself. Then it's quite fine. It's fine.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Ifnaya. Dr. Kabi, if you want to round us out, you have your hand raised.
Thank you, Maiwa.
About housing, yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the issue of housing is a very relative one. It varies from city to city, school to school. For instance, if you look at like places like Stanford, I know someone, a friend who is at Stanford, and when he was there, I think for a one bedroom, he was paying $2,000 per month. But one thing you notice is this has been factored into a stipend. A Stanford offer would be like $40,000 dollars. So all this has been factored into it. However, so one thing I want to say is when you want to choose accommodation, the issue of affordable, yeah, it should come into place. However, you must be careful because when you say you are trying to look for something cheap, definitely that something cheap will not be close to your institution. And as an international student, you are coming in, you don't even know your way around. My advice is always to incoming international students that you should try as much as possible. If you cannot live on campus in your first semester at least, or live very close to school, try as much as possible to get something within the campus or very, very close to school. The reason why I'm saying this is the fact that your first semester, you're not going to have a car. You don't even know the bus's routes or whatever. So it's going to be difficult for you to be living a little bit far away from school and try to get to school, get to your classes. So whatever you're going to do in terms of accommodation, try as much as possible to make sure that it's either within the campus or very, very close to school. And that's why what everyone has been saying, that you need to leverage the other international students or people who are already on campus or people you know that know the environment and know the apartment or the accommodation. Then they can advise you on which choice you should make. But don't just go and say, oh, because I'm trying to save money, I found this apartment is $100 or $200, but that apartment may, like everyone has said, may not have the facilities or may be so far from school, and you don't have anybody to drop you off from school. Or even in terms of security, it may not be a conducive place for you to live. There are ghetto places out there you don't want to go and live, especially in your first year. So that's pretty much what I would like to add to that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. Mr. Fajulu, sir.
Yeah, again, thank you guys for putting this together. So I just want you all to know that your grad school journey, it's a partnership between you and your advisor. And now I think I'm seeing something that iSI is also a partner with you. Most importantly, don't be quiet. You understand me? Like I said earlier on, someone called me and it was very desperate. It's like, he's even already in the US. It's like, I need help. You understand me? So don't search online, look for platforms like this, LinkedIn, Facebook, some website. We have all the channels here where you can reach out to organizations like iSI. But most importantly, know that the goal of your advisor when it comes to your grad school is to replicate himself. That's why they are paying this money. It's not like where we have back home, that's your professor just want to push you out of school. No, here it's not just to push you out of school, it's to replicate themselves so that knowledge sharing can continue to the foreseeable future so that coming generation can benefit from it. I think one quick thing that I want to chip in also is about the weather. Some people have talked about, I hear Hania talking about how cold Louisiana might be. But let me tell you, Louisiana is Nigeria in terms of cold compared to Minnesota. You understand me? So, and I think I have to say this because the guy that called me earlier in the day is from Iowa. So Iowa can be like can be cold. You understand me? So what I'm saying basically is, the US is so big that, like for example, Texas is as big as the whole of Nigeria. You understand me? So the US is so partitioned that maybe you are living in Louisiana and you think you are living with the worst of the weathers. When you get to places like Minnesota where I live, or go to Illinois, or go to Iowa, or go to even Maine and all these other places,
Michigan, yeah.
You are in a completely different environment. People like Mayowa or Mayokun, they are enjoying their
not exactly, sir, because it's hellfire over here. Not exactly.
because of the heat, right? So
it's crazy, honestly.
Yeah, so it could get so hot that people literally pass out and die. You understand me?
Yes.
Like your electricity can go out because of heat. You understand me? So but just know that you have been through a lot to make it this far. If you have gone to school in Nigeria, I went to school in Nigeria. If you have gone to school in Nigeria and you have made it this far, know that you have been through a lot, and you have inside of you the ability and the strength necessary. But you are not in this alone. You are not in this journey by yourself. There are other people that are willing, that are invested in your success. So that's why you have to speak out. You have to reach out. You have to, and nobody, like somebody asked a question in the chat. I already gave her my phone number. I don't even know her, but I know someone, anybody that will come for a program like this and be asking question. It's really serious. I know they are not going to do anything funny with my phone number. So please reach out and ask your questions. So again, I want to congratulate the team that put this together. I've learned a lot, not for myself, for the privilege of having to share some of this information with people that are asking me questions. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you for doing this, and ISI is very proud of you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Faida,
you
over to you.
so much, Mayo Kun, our panelists, Dr. Akonbi, Mr. Fajolu. I mean, we can go on and on saying so many things about sharing our experiences and stuff, but we also have the time factor. And we still have two buckets to cover. That's life and social and networking. But because of time,
So, Faida, I'm guessing probably should we display all questions and let us just probably answer them all?
Yeah, just one panelist will answer one question. So because of time, we'll have to like go through this very quickly to make sure that we go through all these questions, right? So, and I would want our panelists to possibly maybe keep your responses to 30 seconds, 1 minute. I know it's not enough to share so much, but we would be able to at least pick a few things from what you say. So how to properly manage your time in grad school. And I would want Mercy, you know, I was going to ask you to answer this. I'm sure you know. You just know. So Mercy, how can someone properly manage their time in grad school?
Well, I think first thing first. So when I got to the UK, yeah, because of activities, it's intensive. The master's program is intensive. You have to do lab reports, go to lab, write reports on every labs you attend. So you have, so while when I came to the UK, so this was what happened. I made a timetable for myself. So on my timetable, I have time to, answer chats. I have to respond to chats. I have time for this. So once I'm getting off that time, I make sure that, so what I did was that I just stick to whatever thing I have put on my timetable, something like that, so that I'll be able to engage in other activities. So because, grad school is, I think, doing, coming for a master's program abroad, you also have to be diverse, kind of. So you have to do a lot of things. Don't just allow book to take a lot of your time. So I just stuck to my timetable, and I was so much fixed to that. So something like that. So that was what helped me during my grad school. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So mainly having a to-do list and trying as much as possible to cross off everything on your to-do list. Well, you can't cross 100%, right?
Yes, not
but yeah.
But at least I make sure first, that's why I said first thing first. So make sure that I ensure that I was not, missing out of deadlines, because here in the UK, they are so strict with deadlines. So nights, day, I was doing my work and all that. The day was not enough. I enter my time and my night time, and, no sleep anyway.
You're doing well. You're doing well. So for the next question, we've kind of answered that. So I'll move on to the next one. I mean, we've talked about work, combining work and grad school, and we've actually just talked about managing time. So that's like also handling priorities. So first things first, just like Mercy said. So now this is another sensitive one. I mean, your mental health is very important. So we want you to share tips on what scholars should do to prevent or avoid doing to prevent against mental health issue. So for this one, I want to go around like the four of you. So you can just share one thing. So we at least pick one from each person. So if you want to go first.
Okay, I'll just say you should always speak up, because definitely at one point you will definitely have some challenges that might be beyond you. So it's always good you speak up to your supervisor, to your colleagues, and to friends. Don't just harbor things, or don't just feel you're too strong to handle everything. Always try to speak up whenever you feel overwhelmed by
Right.
such challenges. Yeah.
Thank you. Basit, how do we what tip do you have for us?
So all right, just like Ifena mentioned, nobody's a King Kong. So always speak up, speak with your friends, tell them what you're going through. Sometimes I and we speak on phone to exchange ideas on graduate school and everything we'll be going through, even messy here. So meet your colleagues, tell them what you're going through, and let them advise you on what to do. And if you feel it's too much, maybe it's becoming overwhelming, you can scream or more, things like that. Just to make yourself relieve all those flow, just make yourself relieve. So that's how it works. I mean, over the weekend, I always make sure I watch a match, like, watch Barcelona match. Is that one actually help me relax? Because of graduate school, I know I'm going to kill myself. So I just tune in, I watch Messi for 2 hours. I will not kill myself. So things like that. Look for something that gives you joy.
Yeah, have something that makes you happy. For me, and I don't want to tell you. So moving on. Anya.
I know what it is.
Anya.
Okay, one thing I know, my supervisor told me the day I joined her lab, she was like, do what you can in a day, then what is left, take it to the next day. You can't kill yourself in grad school. But honestly, it is actually a rule. If you are finding things overwhelming, that means you are doing the right thing. Because that is how you know that you are doing the right thing in grad school. Grad school is supposed to be overwhelming, honestly, because there's a lot going on. So the point is, try and take breaks too. Some people take breaks. Some schools have breaks, summer breaks, spring break. My school doesn't. You have just some schools say you have only, like my school, we have only 10 days in a year to have, that's your break. 10 days in a year, that's all. So some people also take breaks, go travel to Houston, go and enjoy life more. It's just try and manage, yourself, where it choke you, just take a break. That's the major thing. That's the point.
It's always important to take breaks. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's why I always want it's nice to have friends in different universities, so you can just travel somewhere when you're feeling all overwhelmed or something. Right. Messi, any tip for us?
Yeah, it's just the same thing as what others have said. So speak with people. And for me, I have some international students here, fellow Nigerians. So once things are, getting choked up, I just enter one of their rooms that, oh yeah, what is up? So I just, do what I love doing, and at times I dance, at times I just make sure that I feel myself, I feel at home and all that. So it has just been like that for me. Yeah, just
that's awesome. So for the next question, we kind of answered the thing about burnout, but I think imposter syndrome is kind of specific. So how do you deal with imposter syndrome, Hanya?
Okay, so I just feel I think you have to just kind of focus more on yourself, because I think imposter syndrome is when you feel you're not doing enough, right? Yeah, so I just feel if you try to compete with people, that is where you have issues. These people always know that you are not from here. You are in another place. Especially, I'm talking to those coming to the US. Some of them in their undergrad from first year, they're already doing internships. They're already doing summer programs. They'll go here, they'll learn how to use the microscope, so. They'll learn how to use this one. You did not learn anything. We know. Let's more forget. We know, even IT, now blood sample they collect. I collected blood samples. Whenever a woman will give birth, we'll drink Pepsi. That's all. That's all. I mean, but that's the point. Once you now start competing with them, that's where you start feeling that you are not good enough. And you're actually good enough, honestly. Like, I did really well in my first year, to be honest. I did really, really, really well. You understand? So, but you just have to make sure that the competition is with yourself. You understand? Like, you are like, oh, I had 35 in my past exam. What can I do to make my next exam better? That's all. That's all. Nobody, and honestly, nobody actually cares whether you are the best in blah, blah, blah. Just do well and learn as much as you can. I just learned the Western blotting technique. Somebody in, it was part one student that taught me how to do it. Part one, that time, she taught me how to do it. And after even teaching me, she even get mine, drive me, go out. Imagine. But you have to just learn it. So you just have to make sure you are competing only with yourself and doing the best that you can. And every other thing, now small, you just learn it little by little and you'll be fine. That's it. You can't know everything.
Yeah, I agree. Like, just take it one step at a time, and like, you're not competing with anybody. Yeah. Anya has kind of like extensively answered the imposter syndrome. So for this next question, we're gonna go around the table again. But this one says 10 things you would advise an international student to do in the first few weeks upon arrival. But since we are 4 panelists, so Mayaka, I'm gonna make you 5, number 5. So we can have 2 from each person, right? I'll start with Basit. So can you tell us 2 things you would advise an international student to do in the first few weeks upon arrival?
For me, I don't know about others. You have to first locate the necessary places. Number 1, supermarkets. Those necessary things, where you have to get essentials. So you need to locate those places, go your way around your vicinity. That's that. And the second thing is to try to locate the African community. Like, okay, all these senior boss around, try to meet them so they can give you all those kind of expo things you need to know about the school, so that you're not going to be fumbling. You just don't go out there and start misbehaving. So number 1, know about your vicinity, and number 2, meet those people who can help you around. They should give you tips on how to live your life.
Yeah, awesome. That's a good one. Mercy, 2 things.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So the first thing I'll say, like those coming into the UK, number 1, you should know how to use your map. Very important. Because people in the UK, once you ask them, please, it's not like Nigeria, please, where is Oshodi? Or please, where is the place they'll be like, sorry, I don't know, I've not been here before. And that's what they'll be telling you. So you should know how to. I remembered when I came to the UK and I was like, okay, let me just try going out. And I almost got, in fact, I was almost crying. I got, hope I'm not. So number 1, know how to use your map. Number 2, know how to use the bus system. It works differently here in the UK, because you can get I think a whole day ticket. So a whole day ticket is cheaper than you getting, for example, you want to go to Glasgow, you want to come back. So it's better you get a whole day ticket than buying a return. No, sorry, not return, like a one-time ticket. So it's cheaper getting a whole day ticket than getting a one-time ticket, something like that. So know how to understand the bus system when you get to the UK, because you need to go to some places you can't trek. And number 1, sorry, you know how to use your map, very important. Number two, you know how to use the bus system, like be familiar with the bus systems and all that.
Thank you so much, Mercy. And with the map, I would still say be careful, because Google Map can take you somewhere else.
Well, I think in the UK, it's kind of, when you get to the UK, it's different.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
it's different.
That's good then.
It's very easy for you to navigate using the map.
Okay. Yeah, so if Naya, 2 things.
Okay. Number 1, I would say you should learn about your hosts. You're coming from a very different world. Let me just say a very different world entirely. So you already have this mindset. You already have so many stereotypes about your host community. Like when I was coming here, I was already told Chinese are very racist. So I already had that mindset. But when I got here, though the case was not so different. They were quite racist. But I discovered my colleagues at work, like the best friend I've had so far is a Chinese lady here, because she really accepted me as one of them. So you just have to learn about the hosts, like the people we are going to meet. Be very open-minded, like very open-minded with everything. Then gradually you integrate yourself into their culture without losing your identity. You know, some of my friends tell me I can't eat Chinese food, I can't do it, but I eat their food. Though the African restaurants say, yeah. But sometimes I hang out with them just to belong, to give myself that sense of belonging. And they're always happy. Like when you try to eat their food, you try to learn their language. Don't isolate yourself. Try to integrate yourself into their culture. That's what I was saying.
Awesome tip. Thank you for that. And but even though you already have like a mindset or this stereotype about your host or where you're going to, it's still just like she has mentioned, it can be different. So it's still important to like keep an open mind and stuff like that. Yeah. So Mayokun, two things.
You carry me before. So I'll say first, wake up. Second, sleep. Very important. Honestly, very important. I'll probably just go to some more conventional things that what you do at the beginning kind of like stipulates and affects how you go in the long run, right? So when you get there, try as much as possible to get familiar with the places. If you're going to be walking every day, and Aniel walks a lot, like I told him, that's like he looks fit, like he goes to the gym. I did a lot of walking as well because I also got an apartment that was very close to the school. So try to know what your major route every day is going to be like. That way you solve a lot of mental stress for yourself going into the beginning of school. And also like sort a lot of other things. We did not talk. I'm guessing we also like need to mention things like open your bank accounts. Make sure you do all those things first. Bank accounts. In America, you have to get a social security number so that you can get paid in school. Otherwise, you would work for free and you'd be doing charity for your research work, that kind of thing. So you want to make sure you sort all of those things. That way, if all of those things is set and you don't have to think about them, then you know you're fine. The very next thing about knowing the layout of the land, Messi had also said about maps. I honestly think it's very important to learn how to use the map. Honestly, I cannot stress it enough. Google Map can misplace you maybe, but that's not been my experience for all of the time, I can say, especially when you look at it well. And I also know that some places can be very similar, so you know exactly how to stipulate. But learning how to use Google Map is a necessary skill, honestly, in Western worlds. She said that about the UK, I can confirm that about the US. Almost everywhere you go. One of the very first things that shocked me coming to Texas. Texas is so big, like like Mr. Fajulu said. When I got on the road first time out, that which is why I say you have to know where you are. There was nobody on the road. Nobody was walking. Everybody had a car. Like even 60-year-olds, kids were driving on the road. And I literally thought it was a crime to be on the road because I was like, oh, there's not going to be a policeman running after me. Like, bro, you're weird. Why are you walking? Where's your car? So, I mean, you just have to like know where you are and just know how to go. So, and then eventually I was like, okay, when I'm walking, there'll be dogs coming out. I'll be like, bro, people don't walk here. Why are you walking? They back, they follow me. So, I mean, I was getting a lot of friends, but they were mostly dogs. So you just want to like know where you are and all that. So it's very important you know where you are, how to go and how to do things. Honestly.
Oh my God, I can completely relate with the dog thing. And then when you're walking on the road and you're like, everyone is driving.
I'll be like, no, I'm just passing, bro. Stay in your garden. They're like, no. Now we get here. I'm like, oh no, sorry.
Oh
Hey, Faida, please can I add one more thing to those that have been said?
Okay, but Anya is supposed to tell us two things. Do you want him to go first or you go first? Anyone's fine.
Okay, quickly. Yeah, I think everyone has said so many things. But one thing I also advise you should do when you get to your country is, please, guys, let's be respectful of time. Time. I mean, I've shared the story when I came to the US. I mean, you know where we all came from. When there is a program at 2 p.m., you are just getting in the shower at 3 p.m. But in this part of the world, time is money. Don't be late to teaching TA meetings or your classes. Please, if there is a meeting at 2, be there at 2 or before 2. That is very, very important. I know a lot of scholars have been, I mean, they have to deal with that when they got to the US. But again, time. Going to classes, going for your meetings, going to events. Don't use the typical African time we are all used to over there. Thank you.
That's very, very true. No African time. So, Aniel, two things.
Okay, so first thing is just resist any urge to get serious. Like when you just get there, especially when you've not started classes. Like you have 5 years or more to, to be very serious. So all those you want to study calculus, engineering, math, K Strode, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, calm down. You will collect when it's time. So it's no problem. Just wait for it. So resist any urge to just get that, crazily serious when you start. Try and settle down first. Mind, soul, and body. Then secondly, if you have a religion, you are a Christian, you're a Muslim, kind of think about where you're going to worship, because honestly, the way you're going to walk, the way you're going to be here, it will most likely take you away from that. So if you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, try and find, just have that in your thought for now, just try and look for how or where best you would worship. And I think those are the two things I can say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very important. And that just caps it all, like find your community, African community, religious community, and all of that. Thank you so much for sharing. I hope the person who dropped this question, I hope you've received lots of answers from us. So moving on to the next one. I think we've kind of covered this when we were talking about giving an overview of our grad school experience. That's culture shock and all that, having to shake your professors or call them by first name and things like that. So this question about racism. So how can one deal with racism? If Naya, I knew I was going to ask you to respond.
Yeah, the thing is, you're not going to force yourself on anybody, because you as a human, you have self-worth, and you're not going to beg anyone to accept you. So what you do is just try to don't disrespect anybody, but just try to have some self-respect. Like someone is avoiding you in the bus, and you're trying to get so close to them. So I think you respect people for what they believe in. Like here, they don't believe, I don't think they don't have that system that tends to integrate blacks here. So what I do, I just do my things, I mind my business. If I talk to you and I see how receptive you are, then I try to make friends with you. But if I talk to you and I see you see me as a lesser human, then I try to be on my own. So try as much as possible to respect people, people's decision about you. Then if at work, for instance, in the university, there are so many rules against if you feel a colleague being racist towards you, you can report. There are some student bodies you can report to, or to the department, then they can take that up if you are being racially abused at work. So there are bodies that handle that. But outside that, I think you should just you shouldn't let it get to you. With time, you get used to the whole thing and you'll be fine. So
awesome. Thank you so much. If Naya, I see Mr. Fajoli reading his answer in 30 seconds, 1 minute.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to comment on when people were talking about find your community, look for African community. Another thing you have to do with that is make sure that you are not under pressure, because personally, I feel like I like to be among African communities, for those of you that know me really well. But I also feel like African community can be a place where you are placed under too much pressure. You understand me? For example, like I'm a very time conscious person. And like Dr. Akombi said, when Africans set up parties, they put buffer time. Like they give you invitation for 3 p.m. The party doesn't start until 7 p.m. And if you feel so much as a student, you feel like, oh, I feel so much pressure. You are there 3 p.m. You want to respect them. You want to wait till 7 p.m. and all that. I don't do that. I didn't do that. I've never done that. I've been to parties where I left before they even started, because I respect my time. My time is very valuable. So don't feel pressured to feel like, oh, I have to feel belong. You understand me? No, you are here. Nobody paid your transport fare to come to the US or to wherever you are. You understand me? Know that your time is very, very important to you. When people know you for that, they will respect you for that. For example, now if people are, my friend was having, when they're having their parties now, they know that Brother Femi will not play with his time. So they will respect me. So if they put 3 p.m. for other people, they put the time they are starting for me. You understand me? So, but if you had said, oh, let me just play along and feel belong, they will not respect you. You understand me? Then when it comes to racism, please, there will always be racists. It is lack of knowledge that make people to behave in a racist way, and you cannot change them. You can only try to educate, but don't let that undervalue you. Don't let anything undervalue you. They are for every racist, there are 100 not racist people. You understand me? So what I'm saying basically is find your level. You don't have to be my friend, but I'm sure there are 5 other people that you could be friend with. If I'm racist, then go find another friend. So I live in my neighborhood. There's one thing that is very good about America: the liberty to pick who you want to visit, the liberty to pick who you want to make your friend. So people can choose to be racist, but you can also choose not to be their friends. I think that's what I would say.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Fajuli. So moving on. So what is the most common challenge faced by first-year grad students, and how could it be surmounted? Basit.
For me, I think it's time management, because sometimes you just need to cut out some unnecessary stuff from your calendar or from your schedule. And I could remember when I was in France, I was sleeping for less than 4 hours every day. I mean, I like sleep normal. So sleeping for 4 hours every day, it was really tough for me. But within the semester, I was able to cope. Then after the semester, I slept a lot and things like that. And secondly, I would say it's the language barrier, the accents and stuff, meeting different people from different places, the way they speak their English, colleagues from India, colleagues from China, the accent. I was trying to, sometimes I speak, they don't understand. Sometimes they speak to me. I try to, group work, lab work, you are with them and you're trying to even understand your language, like understand each other before you now even start doing your reports. So those barriers were part of it. But with time, now, at least I can actually communicate with them and understand them better.
Great. You've actually covered most of it, like time management. I think that's a really, really big one. And for people going to non-English speaking countries, language could also be one. So, but with time, we all get over these things, right? So, what do you wish you knew before you started grad school outside your own country? And so the last question is about being able to find your community. I think we've kind of talked about it, but I want us to go around the table for the question about what you wish you knew before you started grad school outside your own country. So Mercy, what is one thing that you wish you knew before you started grad school outside your own country?
I'm thinking right now. Can you give?
Okay. Haniel.
Well, I think
I'm thinking, should we just make that like the question of the farewell question, like when they are closing out, so that they have enough time to think about it? Or do you, Haniel, you have the response of
Do you have a response?
As you be the boss, I mean.
I'm just saying, because it kind of feels like when you're wrapping up and you're giving final words, you'll be like, oh, there's one thing I could change this, there's something I could change, because there's a lot of things you said that says
we could keep it till the end. So I'm still going to come back to ask you guys that, like, what you wish you knew before you started grad school outside your own country. So the easiest means to find your community, and I think we've kind of mentioned something like that. Possibly, if you're a Muslim, the mosque; if you're a Christian, the church around, or even your international student office. You could talk to them like, oh, they usually organize international students get together and stuff, things like that, and all this kind of stuff. If there's anything I'm missing, you guys, anyone wants to like talk about that? Okay, so we'll move on to the final one. As much as possible, we want to keep to time.
Let's see how fast you can make
this. Is quite short. So this is about social and networking. So Maya, Compass, go.
Yeah, can you just explain the questions? First two questions. So in number of these, we have already mentioned maintaining a balanced social and academic life as well as family back here in Nigeria. Dr. Akambi had said the times you might say you want to send money home and all that, but beyond money home, there is the times make out time to talk to folks. If I talked about time difference, how do you balance being able to talk with your folks back at home, time difference being an issue, and then having a social life and an academic life? And yeah, I think I'd like to go first to you to just say something about this, and then maybe from that.
Okay, so something I always tell people is that we would always make our time for those we love. It is sure. So I no matter how busy I am, I talk to my kid brother almost every day. So it's just how it is, and you will truly make our time for those you love. Honestly, to be honest, that's all.
Okay. And then we had already talked about time management that helps you balance academic and social life. If not, how about you? How do you do that? You talked about time difference, right? 7 hours ahead messes a lot with your time and all that.
But the truth is, you cannot really strike a 50-50 balance with academic and social life. I'm speaking on my own, as a PhD student, that's not possible. You can't have 50-50. But let's say, in a week, I work sometimes during weekends, but I just try as much as possible, at least to have a day that I map out some time that day that I want to communicate with my family in Nigeria. I want to hang out and have some nice time. But outside that, most of my time here is spent in the lab, and you can't just help it if you really want to excel as a PhD student. So, but just no matter how difficult, just find some time to reach out to people and have some fun as well. Yeah.
Beautiful. Make out time for the things you really love and appreciate. I've always wanted to visit Paris. I was talking to Basit off this car. I was talking about gelato, how that DJ Copy had sang about it on the movies about gelato and all that. So Basit, what does it feel like? You've experienced several cultures. You're going to a third country soon. Have you? And the winter messed with your bones, it made you sleep more. But have you had time to enjoy the beautiful cities of Europe, North America? Are you using that to probably unwind and just get off the academic pressure?
Yeah, for sure. So when I was in France, I visited some cities. I was in Paris, went to the Eiffel Tower, the Musée du Louvre, and places like that. I also visited Rome, and I will still be going to Rome next week. And I also went to Malta. Why do you have a Schengen visa?
Is it Malta Guinness?
No. It's a country actually, Malta.
Oh, thank you for educating us. Some of us don't know. Thank you.
Yeah, so if you have a Schengen visa, you should always try to explore while you have the time. Though your stipend is not really that much, but while I will finish you. If you feel like you want to save all the money and buy one big land in Nigeria, now So the graduate school stipend and is just for you to, just like Dr. Comte said, just for you to take care of yourself. They've calculated everything. So if you have time to travel, try to make some travel, visit places and try different dishes and stuff like that.
Beautiful. And then Mercy, I'm coming to you because as busy as you are with your following online and everything, and all of what you're also doing, for people trying to get into grad school, you still have time for excursion. I mean, you've gone to Old Trafford to play football with the Manchester United team, and you've been to several places that we've seen pictures online. So how exactly are you able to map out the time to have the time beyond academics to explore the beautiful cities in the UK?
Okay, thank you very much. So while I was coming to the UK, I had the intention. So I think it's just all about what you are determined to do. So I was determined to visit some places. I don't just want to come to the UK, read, and then leave. What am I doing? So I was determined to explore so many places. So, and then I also had the opportunity to, to do so many things, in the places I have visited. So, and I think that was what really made me go out and all that. So, yeah.
I think I would just also probably like to mention is that at times volunteering in school and the things you also engage in school, some other works could cause you to be able to go places. Because I think I've seen one of your posts about you took up a job as an ambassador for something and it cost you to go somewhere. And if I was to say, I'm just connecting this, at times one of the ways to find a bridge between the social and academic life is to do something that is socially academic and something that is academically social. So that way you get, what's wrong with Daniel? So that way, at least it's still academic, but you're also getting to like have some social time in that thing that is academic. So if we could just do this, we're first year students, and I'm guessing we're not like right now on internships and all that, but you're already like working on that. Mercy, your master's is a 1-year program and you're done. Basit, internship, how do you want to make comments about that? Do you do internship in your program?
Yeah, for sure. We have
How do you go about
right, so we have industrial partners for my program.
Okay.
So you just need to write to them, like start writing to them, and the school themselves will also help you out, because my program is actually attached to France, Germany, Italy, and Romania. So those 4 schools involved, they can actually help you out with internship positions. And when you attend seminars too, you get contacts from these people, write to them on LinkedIn, tell them your interest in their research or whatever industry it is. So that's how it works.
If you just say, I want work, and the work will just come. Beautiful.
No, actually,
how does it
work? Actually, not you want work.
I know, just kidding. If not, how does it work for you?
Anyways, I haven't tried securing any internship for now because I'm still at the start of my program. Yeah. But the thing is that my scholarship comes with a whole lot of opportunities. Just at the 3rd year, you're expected to go on internship, right? So, and your supervisor, my own supervisor, for instance, has contacts in so many other countries. So he can actually link you up if there's an opportunity. Like, he was telling me where he did his postdoc, that was an opening there. But I was telling him I wasn't ready for that now. No. So you can talk to your supervisor. He has so many network, and he might actually link you up with someone that would accept you as an intern.
Beautiful. So. If you want to like probably send your supervisor's contact details to Aniel so that you can link him up and you can get those things as well. I'm just helping you establish the connection so I can help a friend. Aniel, building network in grad school, before we go to the audience, at this point, I'll probably say for our audience, I'll probably look on YouTube and see if we have any questions from there as well. I see we had like a couple of viewings at a time. But if you have any questions right now, put them in the chat box, and then we'll also allow some of you that have questions, raise your hand and ask after Neil speaks right now. But how do you go about like building your network in grad school? Network also, probably speaking to this as network for academic reasons and also for, say, some professional reasons. You want to probably get into the industry and all that. How do you go about building network in grad school?
To be honest, I think I'm polymatched for this question. I'm not equipped for this question.
That's okay.
I'm usually inside. I'm only online, like only nothing, basically.
That's okay. But you do build relationship with people in your lab to be able to like leverage on them for help.
With a gist, normal. Yeah, but outside, I'm
okay. I think I'll just throw it open then. Mercy, Basit, Fnai, do you want to take up? Okay, maybe Fnai had said something about it, but Mercy and Basit, you want to take up building network in grad school?
Okay, so let me speak.
Okay.
The semester I just finished, one of the professors, one of the lecturers that taught us, he was like, if you really want to work with me, things like that, you can always email me to let me know. That's for your 4th semester, because internship is in the 4th semester. So when you take a particular course and you work with a particular professor, if you are really interested in whatever he does or whatever stuff he does, you just need to write to him and tell him, okay, blah blah blah, I'm interested in this, and that's how you build your network. Work with this professor, try to create this kind of relationship with him, maintain that relationship. When you go for seminars to meet different people, create that bond with them. With time, then you start writing to them. It's just like the way you do it for graduate school, when you write this code emailing, try to create relationship with people, email professors and things like that. So it works like that too for building your network.
Beautiful.
So honestly, don't underestimate the local and domestic students too. Those people, they really have information. So try to make friends with those local students because they know about the place than you. You are a visitor, so they can give you information about things you need to know.
Messi, you're trying to say something too.
Yeah, just to add to what Basit has said. So it's very important that you build quality relationships with some of these lecturers. So there was an opportunity I got from one of them. It was just because I was able to relate well. with them. So it's very important that once you get into grad school, observe and make sure that you connect with, people that are kind of interested in your progress. Yes. And they have information. Information is key in life. So it's very important that you build quality relationships with some of these lecturers. Yeah.
Amazing. If I could chip something in before we go to the audience about that question, Faida, if you want to stay on that question just for like less than a minute, so I can say that is that like I think like Aniela said, like you've all said, that when you're in grad school, you're trying to like build competence. You're being trained for what you need to do. So one of the things I always leverage on and see about building network is that eventually you need to like look at what a good journey is going to be like after grad school or during grad school. So conferences are an amazing things to honestly go to build networks. I have seen that and it did work. In the US, I can say something about National Society of Black Engineers and NSB. Amazing conference. When you have conferences, they bring together employees, conferences, and then you can go straight up and probably talk to employers if you're looking to probably get an internship, and you can get on the spot offers. Even if you do not, you can build relationships with people in those companies, begin to have an idea about what it's like to work for those companies. You would also have school fairs, career fairs that you can go to and begin to like talk to people. You just have contacts so you can know exactly what to do and how to do them. So career fairs, conferences, working well with people in your lab, talking to people who are like natives or people who are from that land who are not visitors, like Basit had said. Just making sure you're asking the right questions. You're also being an interesting person that you can probably talk to, and that way they know what you need. I always say this: people don't know what you need, then they do not know they can help you. Let people know what you need. Let them know what you're in the market for, and then ultimately they will know exactly how to tailor the information they feed you or they give to you. Honestly, NSB has been a very big blessing to me. I mean, I was at the last conference, amazing connections I made that makes me very positive about what the after school for me is going to be like. I had offers, I just couldn't take them because of grad school and research. I mean, I had job offers that I just couldn't take up. So it's just like I just make those connections in conferences and seminars and just see how that works out for you. Mercy, do you want to say something else? Or is this
Yes, sorry, just to add to what you just said. So attend important meetings organized by your institution. It's very important.
Okay.
So like my school, we have something called Research Festival. You have the opportunity to present and other ones like that. You have to sign up for some of these meetings. It's not only Research Festival anyways. So, but make sure that you are abreast of information and you sign up for some of these meetings. It's very important. Then you meet with, people of like minds and all that. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Faida, if I'm ready right now, let's go to the audience.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I must particularly appreciate those that are still on call. Thank you for staying with us for more than 2 hours. And thank you to our panelists. I mean, busy grad students, you guys are still here even after 2 hours. So now we'll move on to question and answer from the audience. So if you have a question particularly related to navigating your first year in grad school, you could please type it in the chat box. Or if you want to speak, you could raise your hand and would let you speak. But please make sure that your area, there is no background noise.
I see
Oluwaseyi Adebola. I see Oluwaseyi Adebola. You can unmute and please make this quite short, 30 seconds to 1 minute.
Thank you, our panelists, and thank you, iScholar. I got a scholarship with the Université Paris-Saclay this year to go to study nuclear energy. But during this time is just a pressing time for me because I keep getting a lot of mails, do this, do that, get this done. Like it's just overwhelming and I don't know how to just go about it. Just a little advice from the panelists or anybody can help.
Okay, so if I can understand your question, so you already have an offer and I guess you're still in Nigeria, right?
Yeah.
And then you've been receiving emails on things that you need to start doing, right?
Yeah.
And it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay, so since Paris-Saclay, I think that's in France, Basit, what do you have to say?
It came for you.
I should know that guy.
Oh.
Well, I will just tell him to relax, take things one step at a time, eat enough agbado, just rest, guy. It's going to be fine, to be honest. It can really be overwhelming at first. When you get this stuff, you look at, okay, how do I try to solve this stuff financially, mentally? You are thinking of this and that and the visa processing stuff. So my advice is just for you to, take things one step at a time, get the necessary documents from the school, then start your visa processing. And if you feel like, I'm not really too financially buoyant, blah, 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 take a loan if possible, because definitely when you get there, they are going to pay you your scholarship money. So you can always pay back the loan, or you talk to family members, friends that can help you raise loan. So if your issue or maybe your concern has been financial, financial wise, you need to, first calm down. Just like I said, eat enough agbado, calm down, then you take the other steps.
Okay, yeah, I think that just to add to what you said, since you've been receiving a lot of emails, I guess you've been receiving a lot of instructions from the school, you can just make a list of these things and then know which one, like prioritize them. And if the challenge is maybe sort of financial, you could actually reach out to people and maybe they could help. When you actually start your studies and you start getting paid your stipend, you get to pay back. A lot of people that actually started school outside country and stuff, some people, a lot of us had to like borrow and things like that. So that's totally fine. I hope we've been able to answer that somehow. Okay, yeah, Maya.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you could take a question that was asked like an hour ago, I just had to like trust the question from Samuel Ibidako. And if Ania could just take this question, because I know people always have these questions like, yes, when you're coming to the US, it's not about coming to like make more money, but some people will tell you they have freelancing jobs in Nigeria right now. Like they come and they now take up grad school work. Can they still do like freelancing jobs on platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and all that? So what would your answer be to that be, Ania?
I think it was Faida that said it, that you're not allowed to work here. So
yeah,
I don't want to know. Maybe I shall not catch you. If they catch you last time, I'm just trying to say that trying to say that most jobs that you do here, most things that you do here are tied to your SSN.
Yeah.
Understand? So anything that will just give you stress, please don't just do it, because honestly, the freelancing job will pay you like, let's say 300. Like, I mean, what they're giving you here is enough. Honestly, it's just, you just be greedy and you see welcome to Ibadan. Honestly, that's just the problem. I'm serious. Just try and honest, because I've seen people like that. They're trying to get jobs and all, I mean, you can, there's some things that maybe you help somebody, maybe you teach somebody's child, the person says, oh, I want to give you $20 for that. That's not an issue, But you now saying you want to take up a job, I don't even know if you will have the time, to be sincere with you. Grad school is a lot already. So don't just go and spoil all you have come here for, because of how much, and you are comfortable already. They've already given you a good offer. You are comfortable. So why stress? I mean,
okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
And
I think we have an hand from Zachary.
Yeah, just
Vasi, there's a question for you. Why do you like Agbado?
Oh, sorry, just to really, really like talk about this work thing, especially in the US. Our visa status doesn't allow us to work. Like, okay, we are working as research assistants, and that's just 20 hours per week, or teaching assistant and stuff. Outside that, you are not allowed to. So please make sure that if you're engaging in anything, you could feel like Upwork and stuff, it's online, it's not like physical stuff, but it might not be legal. Still check with your international student service just to make sure that you follow every instruction that to retain this your visa, to keep your visa status in very good standing. You really don't want to see welcome to that. Yeah. Okay, so I see Zacharias and up, and I think Mr. Fadulu's and up. And do we have any other?
Yeah, I was just going to speak on the work thing.
Okay,
I think I will never be funny like him. You understand me? I think he said it's the best. You understand me? Why do you need work? First of all, you are in Nigeria and trying to get to the US. And now you have an opportunity to get to the US and you want to do something that could send you back to Nigeria. Why do you want to do that? If you have an offer of a fully funded offer, there is guarantee. I can guarantee 99% that what you are going to be paid is going to be enough for you. If you are not extravagant, if you are not the type of person that wants to buy a private jet the moment you land in the US, you will be fine. You understand me? Then I think Dr. Akombi said it earlier on. When I got to the US, I told my relatives, I am a student. You'll not be say I come here, come work. I was a student. I'm, as a matter of fact, you guys are even lucky. I was a student that was married with a daughter. You understand me? So I think we have not really addressed that point. You understand me? That's another experience on its own. You understand me? So if people will surely, even if you are in Nigeria working for First Bank, people will call you and ask for help. So much less when you get to the US. You understand me? People will always call you, but you just have to be transparent. Let them know what you can do and what you cannot do. If, as I am now, I know by the grace of God, I have some change extra, but that doesn't mean that I have to give my change to every Gmo and every that calls. No, you understand me? People call me. My phone number is actually online. You understand me? So people will call. People will tell you stories of how they are going to die the next 5 seconds if you don't close your bank account and send it to them. You understand me? And once you send it to them, guess what they're going to do? You're going to see them posting their party pictures on Facebook, and you are going to be beating up yourself like, oh, see the man I just sent money. He's wearing his agbada and spraying naira in a party. You understand me? So please don't jeopardize the privilege you have had.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Fajulu. So I can see 2 hands up. So we're just going to take those 2 and end this Q&A with that. Yeah. So Zachariah Bako, you can unmute and speak.
Hello panelists. Hello to our moderators. Thank you for such a wonderful session. It's been really eye-opening. So my question is on research, because the reality here is in Nigeria, what we do at the undergrad level is not actually, there isn't much research component. So my question is, how does one bridge the gap when one gets to grad school in terms of carrying out research in the lab and then publishing research papers with the supervisors and other co-authors?
Okay. If who wants to take this one?
Faida, I'm just so we can go through the questions fast. So honestly, we kind of like touched on that already. If not, I talked about the fact that some labs will train you. Aniela also talked about the fact that you probably do rotation to be able to like decide on what lab you ultimately settle with. So unless you have any new points to add to that, and about the fact that you'll probably be trained to be equipped and they'll give you time to probably settle in based on who you're working. But Aniela, do you want to add any extra thing to that?
Yeah. What I know is however you want to be trained depends on you and depends on your supervisor. So that's just the point. So during your rotations, you tend to get the skills that you want to get and so on. Like there are some techniques that I've done that my roommate in the next lab has not done it at all. So it depends on whatever, like if your lab is working on, if your lab is a virology lab, you are going to be doing virology things. If your lab is a bacteriology, you're going to be doing you understand? So it depends on your supervisor, it depends on you, it depends on what you want to do, the techniques you want to learn. And most times, even if you are not trained, you can always, YouTube is there. You can watch YouTube, go to your supervisor, tell your supervisor, I want to learn this thing. That's why it's best to choose a good supervisor, somebody that can. That's what grad school is about, training. You understand? So just take it little by little. And to be honest, I tell people to forget about publications in their first year. I don't know why I tell people that, because it just puts a lot of pressure on you. Writing is not easy. Bringing up ideas with science is not easy. Like it's not during the time of Rosalind Franklin or those that discovered DNA that, anything looks like a really brilliant idea. Anything you say now, people will be disturbing it. Like, I mean, have you used it in this animal? Have you used it in this plant? You understand? So calm down first. Like, forget about publications for now. Just focus on learning basic techniques, learning how to think like a scientist, learn how to answer questions, and that's all. Then your supervisor should be your right-hand person. That's all, basically.
That's a very, very extensive one, Anya. Thank you for covering that. And yeah, to the point of publications in first year, yeah, please don't put too much pressure on yourself. Okay, I hope that answers your question. So okay, we're going to keep this short. Ibrahim, Osita, and Hernandez, you guys are going to just ask your questions very quickly.
Can you make them short, Ibrahim?
We won't take any other question after that. So, Ibrahim, yeah, you can unmute now.
Hi everyone. Anyway, I'm not actually asking a question. I was only trying to because I'm a graduate student at USA. So I just wanted to support what Mr. Femi Fajolu said. See, once you get to the USA or wherever you're going to lose a lot of best friends, right? Just don't get bothered about that. It's normal. Because like what Mr. Fajolu said, there are some calls, some chats you'll be seeing, and you'll be like, what? You didn't send some of this chat while I was back home. Just expect to lose a lot of friends, which is normal. Just focus on what you want to do. Any friend that doesn't care about your feelings or care about your growth now is definitely not your best friend. It's definitely not the right person for you for the future you presently. And also, like I said, I've been screaming on the chats, part for my words, that I would like to connect with the panelists and also the host of the events. I would like to connect with every one of you. And that's all. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Ibrahim. Sorry, if you could just unmute again and can you say your full name and your university name again?
Ibrahim Adeleke, Wellington University.
Oh, okay. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Ibrahim.
Thank you so much for adding that. So Osita, yeah. You can unmute Osita.
Hello.
If I did not pronounce your name
yes,
very
yes.
well, it's correct.
We can hear you, Osita.
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm directing this question to Mr. Femi because of what he mentioned earlier. I'm a grad student going to the US next month. I'm married with a kid, but I'm going alone for now. So I want to ask, how did you navigate that? As in the pressure from your family home and trying to also focus on your studies right there in the US.
Okay. Yeah. So Mr. Fajolo, if you want to respond to that and within 30 seconds, 1 minute.
I'm not sure 30 seconds.
That's okay. Well, I will not say it's easy, but one thing I believe in life is whatever I can control, I control. Whatever I can't control, I just leave it out there. As long as lives are not involved, if it's not going to kill me, that I know that okay, there's always a tomorrow. And then if it's not going to kill the other person, then there's always a tomorrow. You understand me? So I sympathize with you that you have to leave your family, you have to leave your wife and your son or daughter for now. But just know that that is a temporary thing that is going to ultimately end up for the betterment of the entire family. You understand me? Just to make sure that you stand up for your wife and your child, no matter where you are. There will be a lot of pressure. She will hear stories. As soon as you get on the plane, people that have not been to Cotonou before will call her and they will say, you hear your husband. I'm sure he's already sleeping with 2 women out there. You understand me? And possibly you will hear the same thing. You understand me? So you have to still yourself, and you have to tell your wife to still herself, so that it is the business is between the 2 of you, not other person. You understand me? People will come and tell you story, tell them thank you. They will tell her story, tell her to tell them thank you. You understand me? Now you have a responsibility as far as your school is concerned. If you fail, guess what? is back to square one, and you are going to go back to her. But if you pass and succeed, guess what? The two of you are going to ultimately end up here, and the future that you aspire to, you are going to get to it. Then when it comes to third-party relatives, be transparent. It's not every need that you can meet. Yeah, I paid some school fees when I was grad school. I was able to pay some school fees. That's all I could do. Understand me? But somebody saying, "Oh, I want to buy." Somebody actually called me. She finished building a house. She wants me to pay for the windows. I'm like, are you kidding me? So who owns the house? That was actually the question I gave to her. Who owns the house when you build it and I pay for the window? You understand me? So people think you can actually buy them cars. Somebody would say, buy me ABC bus. You understand me? Buy me this. I want to be doing transportation. That would be a lot. Like I think was Ibrahim that said it. That would be a lot of people that will come, and you will lose friends. And Ania said he has lost wives. You understand me? So my friend, such is life. But ultimately, just know that there are certain things you will never be able to control, no matter how you try. So you can reach out to me privately for us to continue the conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Fajovi. Yeah, so and the last question we'll take will be from Hernandez. So Hernandez, is you can
Yes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Oluwasegun Samuel. A final year student of Social Sciences, University of Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, so the question I wanted to ask is basically respect to grad scholarships available. To some extent, I kind of feel like it looks like it's more favorable to people who are in the area of pure sciences and basically sciences. I tend to see less of opportunities and scholarship for people in arts and humanities and social sciences. I want to ask, is there an avenue for people to get to know opportunities that are available for people in arts and humanities and social sciences to be able to be a part of this world of scholarship that seems to be available for people or students? So basically, that's my question.
Okay, thank you for your question. And actually, your question is more about scholarship and not first year in grad school, but we're still going to try to provide a response to that. So you said you're a social science person, but few more opportunities for science. Well, actually, the way the world is right now, I agree. There are more opportunities for science, or that's the one that is more pronounced, advertised, and things like that. But there are also opportunities for art and social science. You just have to find them. I'll use the US for as an example. So in the US, it's not like Commonwealth shared scholarship that is advertised or something. There are more than 4,000 universities in America. So people generally start the search by searching for a school, going to the department website and checking the scholarship opportunities available for their courses. So that is one way that you can find opportunities. There, like in my school, there are people that are in literature and things like that, political science, and they're on scholarship too. So these opportunities, you cannot just stay behind or be laid back like a science person. Science people can decide that they want to relax because they will start seeing all these things flying around. But for social science, you actually need to put more, do more. So you need to dig for those opportunities by yourself. Right. So I've given you an example of what it's like looking for these opportunities for US. And then other scholarship opportunities also embrace other fields, not just science, like Commonwealth shared scholarship. It's Mercy, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it's science-based or any particular course-based.
No, it's not science-based.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think
science-based.
Around all areas, yeah.
It cuts across all areas. So you need to like just do more with like searching for these opportunities. It might not come to you like maybe on a WhatsApp group that you're in or something. You might have to be the one to actually go to Google and search by yourself. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything more to this. That will be our last question for this session, so that we, as much as possible, close out this session at 3 p.m. Okay.
Okay, so
just a quick
okay.
Just a quick addition to that. Like Faida said, I think when you talk about social sciences, arts, there are scholarship, there are opportunities, and especially when we are talking about the US, most of these are actually not scholarship. They are research grants, teaching assistants, and they are available in other programs too in the art and social sciences. But what I've found out over the year is, like Fayada said, people don't do the search by schools and department themselves. They just think they'll find those on the WhatsApp, Twitter, which will not come, because when you talk of science-based and engineering-based, there are very many of those out there. There are so many government-funded research that are going on, especially in the biomedical area. But you don't have that in the art. So again, focus more on schools, go to the department, look at their requirements, and I believe you find very many of such opportunities out there too. I know a lot of scholars who are, even in iSI, we have a couple of them who are not science-based, who are art-based. Just one quick thing to the guy that asked about the family, your family is back home in Nigeria, you are going to be here. My simple advice to you would be focus on your education. Come up with good grades, and with that, you'll be able to have opportunity of maybe exploring finding more financial opportunity that can also help you when you get to the time of trying to bring your wife or your children, because I would completely agree with you. I wouldn't expect you. It's going to be very challenging for 5 years to be here and your family is back home in Nigeria. My advice would be, if you are focused on your education and streamline your funding, your spending, I can tell you within the next 2 semesters, you should be able to bring your family over, maybe your wife over and your kids over with the F2 visa. We can talk on the background on those opportunities if you want that. Thanks.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Akonbi. So we would just round up with the parting words which my opponent take, and these parting words would just be the panelist's response to that question. What is one thing you wish you knew before you started grad school outside your country? Maya, please take this one.
Okay, so going to the far ends of the earth, and I'm going all the way to Asia. If Funaya, what would you say? I know it's been 7 months for you, but what would you say, Funaya?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking it's going to be easier here, because while we're in Nigeria, we always have this mindset that when you're abroad, things are really going to be so
everywhere
easy.
else is better.
Because we've seen cases of people with third class in Nigeria. When they come here, they make first class. So I already thought it's going to be so easy, but the past 7 months has been the most challenging of my life. First is even settling down, even trying to acquaint yourself to the environment is a very big challenge. Then my supervisor is Chinese, so you trying to build a relationship with even your supervisor, your colleagues, people that have a very different orientation from you. It's quite challenging. Then the knowledge gap as well. We in experimental sciences, there are so many skills we didn't acquire back home. So getting here, you see someone in 100 level here can do what a PhD graduate in Nigeria cannot do. So you have to, it's just like you're starting afresh, and it's really very challenging. So we shouldn't, it's not easy here. I would even say it's much more difficult here, but I believe if we are determined enough and consistent enough are willing to give it our best, we are definitely going to excel, and we'll tell our success stories someday.
Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, thanks for wrapping up with that. But I'll probably just say this so that for Basit, Mercy, and then Aniel in that order. When I come to you next, you then be able to like say something much more about this. But if now in your 7 months or 8 months or how long you've been there, if you can right now with the knowledge you have, go back to the beginning, is there something you would do differently to probably help yourself better with all you know now? If you can go back, is there something you would do different?
Yeah, sure.
So what would you do
Because
different?
now, I've really learned to be a little to be independent to some extent.
Okay.
Like now I can analyze things more critically. Like as a researcher, that's like analyzing things more critically, and you don't just do things on assumption. You tend to know why things are happening. You are more critical, you are more analytical. So if I'd known this back in Nigeria, I think I wouldn't have found it more challenging here. So,
Okay, so be more critical, be more analytical in the things you do as regards research. Beautiful.
Not just research, like almost every aspect of your life. I think it helps. It applies to every aspect of your life.
Understood. Well, thank you for sharing that. Basit, Agbado.
Basit.
Not Basit, Abdul Basit.
Abdul Basit. He's TJ. Okay, don't worry.
We have less than 3 minutes. So.
Yeah, Basit, go for it.
Sorry, the question again, please. Can you just repeat?
Read out the question again. I like to say that what would you do differently based on all you now know now from your first year? What would you do differently from year one? The question is, what do you wish you know, right? But it's
okay. So my current research interest is in control systems actually. But when I was in undergraduate, I only took like I think 2 courses in control system, and in my final year I had the opportunity to do one extra control course, but it was an elective course, so I shied away from it. But when I got here, it really hit me hard. So if I had known, I would have taken some courses then that I actually took for granted, like, hey, I just want to graduate, I'll be 500 level, just leave. So things like that.
Okay, beautiful. If I could add just one thing, because I know where you're coming from, I would say that before you started your classes, was there anything you could have done as regards probably reading up some books? I know Aniel said don't kill yourself, but as regards probably reading some control things to help you prepare better, is there something you'd have done different like that? Would that have made it easier for you in year one? You can probably just go back to read some of the control things in your undergrad.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
No, not really.
Okay. Well, thanks, Percy. Mercy.
Thank you very much. So one thing I actually learned is intensive writing. When you are coming to the UK, just prepare yourself for intensive writing, back to back. And yeah, they don't joke with plagiarism, like I said. So, and I was not so informed about this Turnitin and all that while I was in Nigeria. So when I got to the UK, I learned how to use the Turnitin app and all that to check for my plagiarism score. So, but I just want to tell those on call that just prepare your mind to write lab reports, publication standard. So, and also learn to work with deadlines too, very important. So yeah, I think that's just a summary.
Okay, Daniel with the H.
Okay, so I just feel what I feel I would have learned better before coming here was maybe socializing outside, being like outside the internet, like normal, like socializing and having fun. I just think that's something I'm working on right now, and I have to work on it because I'm usually always working, maybe looking for grad school stuff for people and stuff like that. So I actually I need some stuff. I need to help myself. So I think that's the thing I should have learned before coming here, honestly.
Yeah, I think you should have taken your wives along. They would have helped you with that. Honestly, your wives would have helped you with that. So
you need to be going for happy hours. Okay, don't neglect that. It's part of the process.
Okay.
Yeah, so Faidat, over to you to close us out. Thank you guys very.
So I see that everyone has talked about so many things covering academics and stuff like that. I still want to add something which is about finance. So I mentioned it before, the money you see on your offer letter is most likely the amount you get before tax. So please know that that money is just money for you to live a good life over here. It's not like you're going to be able to like help 1 million people or share as much as you want to. So please don't overwhelm yourself with that at the time you just arrive. And you should already start building a saving culture. You should also know that your rent is not like Nigeria where you pay per year. You're going to pay per month. You're going to pay bills. You can't owe bills. If not, you just, things like that. So please also know that before you move, right? So yeah, it's been
Yeah, sorry. I also think, if I just quickly add on finances, I think it also depends on the country, because here I have guys here on this Hong Kong postgraduate fellowship from the government. And believe me, every month they are paid nothing less than 2 million naira. That's equivalent. And most of these guys stay in the school hostel, which is, you pay very little in the school hostel compared to staying outside. You don't pay tax, nothing. So you just pay your rent. And they're saying those guys are really money. So if you are so particular about money, then I think you have to look at the country. Maybe US, you don't get much, you pay a lot of tax, but it's quite different here. So that's
we pay tax.
no, we don't pay that here. You just pay your rent and
okay, I get that. Yeah, thank you for adding that. So like I mentioned before, it's been a very, very wonderful session. So for our closing remark, I'd like to call on the iSI Secretary, Mr. Femi Fajolu, to give us a short closing remark in 2 seconds,
I like you so much.
That's the closing remark. That's the closing remark.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm so impressed. We keep raising the bar every single day, and you guys are the foundation, the stem, and the branches of what kind of organization iSI aspires to be. I want to thank you so much for giving these 3 hours. The 3 hours feels like it's just 30 minutes, because you guys, when you have to be serious, you're so serious. When you have to be funny, you are so funny, and you carried every one of us along. I just hung on to every single thing that you guys are saying. I enjoyed myself so much. Thank you so much to all the people that attended, even if it is part of it that you attended. Thank you so much. You can be rest assured that our panelists are always they are online. You can connect with them, ask more questions. They will be more than willing to answer those questions. So because we are all in this together. I think I said it earlier on. We are all in this together. Don't feel like you are on this journey alone. I think that is the mentality that we carried from back home. We compete against each other. I want to be better than the next person. I better pass by my neighbor. I think that's how we say it back home, but not like that here. We are all in this together. The fact that I succeed does not stop you from succeeding, and the fact that you succeed does not stop me from succeeding. So let us bring those questions, bring those challenges. If I can't resolve your challenges, if I can't answer your questions, I guarantee I will have at least one person that will be able to answer them, or at least or help you. So thank you again so much. God bless everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Fajolu. So thank you so much to our panelists, Mercy, Basit, Ifunaya, and Neil. Thank you so much for giving your time. I mean, time is money. That's the most expensive thing for a graduate student. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayokun.
Mayokun.
Well, we always mix it up, right? We have the Mayokun, the Mayokun.
I do well. Faida, I was just going to say, if you could add one final thing, because I got a couple questions about like some grad students who are just here, but not exactly IE scholars, asking how they can get involved with iSI, probably to volunteer and do whatever. So do we probably make any comments? They send an email to iSI, because I'm trying to like reach out to some of them and talk to them personally.
Okay, what you say is the question?
No, not a question. People are asking us how they can get involved with ISI. Probably
Yeah.
some scholars who are just some scholars who
Yeah,
are
I gave out my number. They can reach out. So
okay, beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
So
you can
guys, if
call
you
me
can
or
probably
send me a
go through
message.
the chat and get Mr. Femi Fajuli's number. I also like sent my number to some of you so we can just get talking and see how we can get you plugged in.
Okay, yeah. And I must also mention that this session is live on our YouTube channel. So if you go to our YouTube channel, we have a lot of sessions that we've done previously. This is one we do every year, I think once or twice a year. So you could also watch the old ones. We also have sessions for people that are interested in scholarships. We actually have sessions that kind of answer that, assessing opportunities, your documents and things like that. So you just go to YouTube, just search for iScholar Initiative. Make sure you click the subscribe button and you like and comment on our videos.